Hey, what's up, listener? Thank you for pressing play this week on the Jock and Nerd podcast. Bust out all of your fish, water, and wet Jason Momoa puns because we're taking a deep, full spoiler dive as we review the latest DC superhero movie, Aquaman. Joining us this week is my sister because a family that podcast together something together. I'm not sure how the saying goes, but you are going to learn a lot as Anthony, Rugboy, and the Jock and Nerd Nation grill her with questions about me.
This is going great.
All that and more in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Thursday, December 27th, 2018.
This is Jason Mewes, and for reasons best left between you and your therapist, you're listening to the Jock and Nerd Podcast. Snooch to the nooch.
Check. Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. We're jocking, we nerded. We're funny, disturbing. We're jocking, we nerded. Spoiler alert. Oh yeah. We're jocking, we nerded. We're funny, disturbing. Oh yeah. I'm jocking, we nerded. We're spoiler alert.
Hi-yo, listener. What's up? Thanks for tuning in this week, and welcome to the Jock and Nerd Podcast, your weekly geekly, giving you comic book and superhero, TV, and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the nerd.
And that fantastic, freaky, felty in the corner is Rugboy. What's up, Rugs?
Underwater.
Oh, you did that underwater bit already. I see.
I know. I wanted to bring it back.
What you're doing. It ties into the topic of the show.
I thought you were motorboating.
I am too. I do that while I'm underwater.
Did we interrupt your motorboating session? I'm sorry. You know we always record at this time.
You know, it's Thursday.
That's right. I motorboat and then I do podcasts.
Yeah.
Also joining us, very special guest in what may be the greatest idea I've ever had or the worst idea for me I've ever had. Please welcome on the show my younger biological sister, Sofia. What's up? How did you get here?
Oh, well, I wasn't adopted. I'll confirm that.
Okay. And the reason...
Not sure if Imran was, though.
I don't know how she got here, but I'm not 100% sure, but I'm willing to bet that it was between a man and a woman.
Something like that.
Something sexual might have happened.
Well, look, this is what happened. It's the holidays.
Is that what you were asking?
No, that's not what I was asking. Now I have an image in my head.
Now you have to start thinking about that.
Of my parents doing... Never mind. Anyways, scratch that. Look, it's the holidays. She was in town. We saw Aquaman together. And I was like, we're going to review Aquaman. Want to come on the show? Now, Sophia, have you ever listened to an episode of the Jock and Nerd podcast?
I've listened to one episode.
I'll take it.
That's more than Anthony's listened to.
What did we talk about?
It was the one where you had a science guy talking about the science of...
Adam Morris.
Science and superheroes.
It was fascinating.
Yeah,
Dr. Adam Morris.
He's
He
great.
did an episode where we talked about if Aquaman was possible.
Yes, listeners should check out, just search Science of Aquaman, and you will learn something. Now, the reason I said biological sister, I got to explain something. Because if you look at us in real life standing next to each other, we look like a pair of piano keys. And I'm not talking about the white keys. I'm talking about the one long fat white key and one little black key next to it. The reason is...
Did you just call me a little black key?
You're a little black key.
Okay.
Listen, it's like ebony and ivory. She is dark and I am light.
It's more like a little brown key.
Little brown key. For the new listener, let me explain.
She's not that dark. I saw the picture.
I sent you guys a photo of us just now. I'll put it in the show notes, listener. You can check out us
not dark
together.
Enough. She could find somebody. Not that dark.
Oh shit! Nailed it.
I might have to ask you to talk to my mom about
So
that.
you know what? And our parents, you're darker than our parents. Our parents aren't really that dark. So she is brown and I'm white, listener. We are related. We're Pakistani, but I have vitiligo. And I've had it since I was 6, which is the destruction of the melanin in my skin. So basically, like Michael Jackson, I was born a little brown boy, grew up into a white man.
And you are actually the brownest of our whole family.
Was
when
I?
You were a kid. Yeah, you
Was
were.
he?
You,
Oh, it was fucking
if you look
chocolate.
at pictures, he was a dark. Yeah, he was like
I need to see these fucking pictures.
I have naked baby photos of myself on a bed.
He
look
was
at him.
the brownest, and then he became the
Can you
whitest.
send me those?
I'll post
When did he? So who's older?
I just said younger. Anthony doesn't listen. Younger
So you're
biological sister.
So when do you start? When did you start remembering him looking funny?
I think my whole life. I don't think I have like conscious memories from because it started when you were like 6.
when I was
right?
6, you were like
don't
3
remember.
or 4.
Yeah,
so
so
pretty
that's
much.
pretty early.
So it was
Yes.
already
Yeah.
happening. All right.
By the time you would have your first memory, I had like white rings. I looked like a fucking raccoon a little
Yeah, I don't
you
have
already
any.
you had the white rings on your eyes.
bit. Around my eyes and a little bit around my mouth, and it was on the joints on my fingers and elbows.
Yeah.
It started real slow. Just like that model, Winnie Harlow or Chantel Brown.
Nothing like her.
If you're also a new
look
listener,
nothing like
I
her.
know she's fantastic. Check out the show notes for this episode, jockandnerd.com/254, where you will find links to everything we talk about, how to get in touch with us, how to subscribe for free so you never miss a show. You're going to want to stay tuned, listener, because later in the show, we're doing a ancient Arabic tradition. It's a game called AHAAM.
Oh, I know that game.
Yeah, Anthony?
I know how to pronounce
How do you
it.
pronounce that?
Hum.
Mashallah, the guy's learning Arabic. Look at Alhamdulillah. You know, really, the reason for the show, the real reason is so I could slowly convert Anthony to Islam. Oh, shit. I think it's going well.
We can do that.
We could do that right on the show, Anthony, if you want. No.
It's really easy.
AHAAM will be a segment called Ask Her Anything About Me. Talking nerd. Oh, I've thrown
That's
this out.
later.
Yes, that's later. You're going to want to tune into that because I threw it out to the Jock and Nerd Nation Facebook group. And holy fuck, are there some amazing questions.
This is a very narcissistic show on your part.
This is great. I mean, I feel like I'm going to take a lot of abuse
We're going to
right
spend
now.
half of it talking about you.
Hey, that's fine. That's why I brought my sister on.
Yeah.
Also, this is the last show for calendar year 2018. Happy New Year when you're listening to this, people.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully 2019 is a year also.
Well, still, this will release before the new year.
Like one day, but most people will be listening to this in 2019. Happy New Year. And so, since we need time for the AHAAM, we're just going to get right to the review right here. Let's hit it, fellas.
The Jock and Nerd Podcast.
Full spoiler review of Disney's live-action adaptation of Little Mermaid. Wait, no, that's not right. It's the sequel, The Shape of Water. That's not right either.
Kind of.
Kind of. It is a guy fucking a fish lady, kind of reversing
Yeah.
Shape of Water.
Splash.
That's what Waterworld should have been.
Also, the sequel to Splash with Tom Hanks and Daryl Hannah. This movie is a lot. Aquaman. Full
was
spoilers.
this about Adam Sandler?
No, that's Waterboy. That's the prequel to Aquaman. Here's your
Right.
spoiler alert, listener.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
So this is gonna be great when we get to our opening thoughts because my sister, like, she doesn't watch. She doesn't care about comic book movies. Really into it. We'll
Why did
find
you
out.
watch this movie?
One reason alone.
Jason Momoa.
That's it. But look, before we get to the opinions on the movie, we got to start with facts. Here's some facts about this movie. This is the 6th DC Universe movie since this new universe they've been trying to start with Man of Steel in 2013. 2016 brought us Batman vs. Superman, Suicide Squad. 2017, Wonder Woman and Justice League. And now Aquaman in 2018. Rotten Tomatoes right now, this movie went down to 64%. Average rating just a straight 6 out of 10. So compared to the other DCEU movies, it's kind of in the top range. There's not a lot of movies that are above 50% in that fucking list of movies. Box office wise, here's the big key. This movie came out in China like a month earlier, and I think that was probably the smartest thing they could have did. It made $270 million before it even opened here. Opening weekend here, $67 million. Which was what was expected, but it was the Christmas opening weekend. So the 5-day total was like over 100 million. It's sitting at 122 domestic. Worldwide, it's made $596 million.
Oh, shit.
Whoa.
Dollars, over $500 million. A couple of other interesting facts. This is one of only 6 movies to make more than $20 million on Christmas Day. It joins Avatar, Sherlock Holmes, Rogue One, The Last Jedi, and The Force Awakens. However, this is the lowest opening weekend for any DCEU movie.
Yeah.
But it is the highest grossing film in China for Warner Brothers. Made $93 million opening weekend. My question to you guys right now, do you think this thing hits $1 billion? Is this their
It'll
first?
just be short of $1 billion.
Could this be their first $1 billion movie? It would be huge for them.
I don't think it's going to hit $1 billion.
I think it's just going to be close, but it'll fall short.
I don't think it'll hit $1 billion just because I don't think domestically it's going to do as well.
Yeah, probably not.
So it needs a good domestic gross.
I think a lot of moms will be taking their kids to see this movie repeatedly.
Yes. I think that may be a huge factor. You got to wet Momoa. That's all you need. But look, it's been out in the U.S. for 6 days, and it's already made about $600 million worldwide. It's going to get close, like 900s maybe. Like, this is going to be huge, and China's eating this up, and they definitely were smart with this global grab. It worked. It worked for them. Cast and crew, directed by James Wan, director of The Conjurings, The Saws, Furious 7, Fast and Furious 7.
Yeah.
Annabelle. He did an Annabelle spinoff. What else did they do? Insidious, horror movies, and produced all the Saw movies. Hold on, let me see.
I have watched all the Conjurings, though.
You have. You like The Conjurings?
Except for Annabelle.
I'm not into the horror that much.
I seen the Conjurings. Pretty good.
I heard 2 is very good. Everyone says.
Like, for horror movies that are really predictable, yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
This movie is written by David Leslie Johnson McGoldrick and Will Beal, starring, of course, Jason Momoa as the titular Arthur Curry. And boy,
you see his tits a lot.
Oh, you see a lot of titular things about Momoa. Amber Heard as Mira.
You don't see her tits.
No, you don't. William Dafoe as Volko. Do we see his tits? I don't remember. I don't think
Willem.
No, you don't.
Oh, it's Willem. Sorry. Grammar Nazi. I forgot. She's a smarty. Willem. I always called him William. It is William. Patrick Wilson as King Orm. Nicole Kidman as Queen Atlanta. Dolph Lundgren as He-Man. King Nereus. He-Man underwater. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II as Manta, Black Manta. Tamara Morrison as Tom Curry. And Randall Park from Fresh Off the Boat as Dr. Stephen Shin. And you have some fun cameos from Julie Andrews, who is the voice of the giant kraken creature at the end, the giant creature he had to fight.
Oh.
That was Mary Poppins.
They should have put a song in there.
I know. She should have sang something. And then Jimon Hunsu is the voice of the fish person. Jimon Hunsu, by the way, record.
Really?
Yes, he was the voice of the main. Jimon Hunsu is in 3 superhero
which
movies.
Fish person?
He was
must free.
the Fish Kingdom, when they go to the kingdom where they're the long blue seahorse looking people.
Yeah.
He was the voice of the king. So he is in Aquaman. He is in Captain Marvel, and he's going to be in Shazam as the Wizard. Jimon Hunsu, 3 superhero movies this year. He
dies in 3 superhero movies.
He dies over and over again. All right, so let's start with how we usually start, opening thoughts. Sophia, since you're new, we're not going to let you go first. Usually I let the guests go first. Anthony.
Since you're new, I'm not going to let you go first.
Well, she doesn't listen to the show. Should we have her go first? Should we just throw her in the fire?
Why not? Why not? Ladies first. Come
All
on,
right,
ladies.
ladies first. Just give us your overall opening thoughts. Like, you walked out of this movie, what was going through your head? Baseline question. A, have you watched any of the DC superhero movies? What did you know about Aquaman going into this? And then what did you think of the movie?
I watched Wonder Woman.
Okay, that's one.
Which I quite enjoyed. That's, I think, the only other one I've seen. And what did I know about Aquaman?
Yeah.
Not much beyond the trailers.
Okay. You never heard of Aquaman?
Oh, yeah. Of course I'd heard of Aquaman. I grew up with you. Of course I heard about Aquaman.
There you go.
He's not as cool as Spider-Man, but you know.
Yeah, so one thing I always wonder, same thing with Wonder Woman, and I'm too lazy to go back and do the research, is how closely do they stick to the origin stories that were in the comics? So I wondered that a little bit.
Asking?
Yeah. Am I not supposed to ask right now?
No, you can ask. I would say DC somewhat. DC has DC reinvents their origins every 10 minutes. So somewhat would be the question.
The problem with the comic book universe is they keep restarting it and rebooting it and retconning it. But this movie follows closely to this 2011 rebirth storyline.
The
basic concept, though, is a man of 2 worlds. So yeah.
So what did you think were your first thoughts coming out of the theater? Did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it, yeah. It kept my attention. It was entertaining. The sort of special effects were amazing. There were a lot of walls breaking during conversations, but that was cool. I wondered how they filmed all that stuff underwater. That was pretty neat.
Is everything better down where it's wetter?
I like that she goes, that was pretty neat.
That's pretty
neat. Pretty neat.
Neat.
No, technology.
I like when someone uses neat.
Neato.
To describe things.
It was rad.
It was rad. Told you.
So it didn't blow you away. You're just like fun movie.
It did blow.
Oh,
me
it did
away.
blow you
Yeah,
away.
I liked it.
All right, that's what we're trying to get at.
Yeah. Okay. Blew me away.
There you go.
Well,
So do you go to see these types of movies? Not comic book movies, but movies with big effects and stuff like Avatar and stuff like that?
Yes.
So you feel like it's on par with something like that?
Yeah. I think this was on par with Avatar. It was pretty visually.
You remind me a lot of Avatar.
You were engrossed.
I was engrossed. I was captivated.
Because Momoa is wet. That's the only reason why.
I've been, Momoa was a big draw. Also, one time in my life, I went scuba diving, and it reminded me of like the amazing sort of underwater things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's slightly realistic.
I found Nemo.
Yes. You got to find Nemo.
So now, generally, do you feel that you are a movie connoisseur, or do you just you're very passive about movies, or do you actively watch certain movies or
I'm
whatever?
somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
I'm somewhere in the middle of that. I watch movies, but not as actively as you guys, I guess.
Oh, we studied the shit.
I watch
and
a
pick
lot
apart.
of. My genre is horror movies.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. See,
I
I've already
love
learned
horror
fucking something.
movies.
I did not think you were into horror movies because I just don't care.
I love it. I'll pay the full ticket price to watch even shitty ones in the theater.
All right.
Oh, really?
That's your genre,
Yeah.
huh?
What's your favorite horror movie?
The Ring, when I saw it, was pretty
that's a good one.
frightening.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
And the Japanese original of
Yes.
that,
Ringu.
Those movies are fucking weird.
was pretty scary.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. I already look at this. I'm learning.
All right, so we
I'm
got kind of like
learning
a
things.
baseline of what your sister is into.
Yeah.
Why she went to the movie. She went to see Jason Momoa's boobs.
Yep.
Yes.
And
also, I mean, I enjoyed the whole thing. The story
Okay.
was good.
The buzz was there
The
beforehand.
buzz
You're
was
like, let's go
there.
see
It was a
Okay.
full theater.
Yeah, there you go. It was a
Mood was
packed theater. Anthony, let's go to you next. What are your opening thoughts on the movie?
Well, since we have a guest, I don't want to rain on her parade too much.
No,
didn't like
but
it.
that's why we're here.
My first thought is this movie is fucking batshit bonkers crazy.
Yeah.
Like, we can get into it, but if you narrate the whole plot orally,
Yeah.
or just write it down,
Yeah.
you're like, holy fuck. They put like everything in this movie. Like later on, we should definitely narrate the
All
middle
this shit
scene.
happened.
The adventure he had to go on just to get the fucking trident.
Yeah.
Did you hit the spoiler button, by the way?
I did. You don't pay attention because I
don't
did
pay
play the
attention.
spoiler.
No.
Yeah.
All right, well, maybe now you did.
he's looking at his
He was
phone.
texting some girl. I'm pretty
I
sure.
was looking at something. No, this movie is batshit crazy. I mean, I applaud them for going like all out, because this is about as all out as you can get making an Aquaman movie. I liked the ambition. I liked what I saw on screen as far as just like camera work and throwing things that are very comic booky and just being like, fuck it, we're gonna throw it on there. I appreciated all that. The movie's kind of too long. There's kind of too much in it, in my opinion. I think Jason Momoa is pretty. It does not have a ton of range as an actor, and it kind of shows here. I thought Amber Heard was terrible. I thought she was boring as fuck. Overall, I thought they overstuffed it, and it was a little bit too long and a little bit too melodramatic for my tastes. The movie needed to like cut out a few things, maybe cut out a few side adventures, and just kind of like relax a little bit. So my overall thoughts were I appreciate the ambition, but I wasn't impressed with the final outcome.
Interesting.
Aren't these movies meant to be over dramatic though?
I went with melodramatic.
Melodramatic.
The movie was borderline cheesy, and not in like there's cheesy in a way where it's like we acknowledge that this shit is kind of ridiculous. Like for instance, in Age of Ultron, Hawkeye goes, there's cities flying, there's robots, and I got a bow and arrow. Like none of this fucking makes sense. But Aquaman is like, I'll just go right in. Like one of the scenes right when they're in the last battle, and Aquaman and Mira decide to make out while everything's fucking exploding. And I'm like, come on.
Really?
Like, come on.
We had that thought as well.
So that's just one example, but yeah, I don't want to get too in depth.
I
in my
rolled my eyes
thoughts.
so hard I like passed out for a second when they did that. I was like, you got to do this now. All right, Ruggs. Sophia Ruggs traditionally hates everything, so maybe he likes this one. We'll find out if it's a swerve. You never know. Ruggs, opening thoughts. What'd you think?
Let's see. Let me just set the stage here. Yeah. Got no skin in the game for Aquaman.
Don't give a shit about the Aquaman.
Don't give a shit about the character. It doesn't really mean anything to me personally. I'm not a DC guy. I like Batman and shit like that, Justice League, stuff like that. But like Aquaman was never like a guy that I was like, oh, I gotta see an Aquaman movie. They changed the look of Aquaman. Obviously made him into a much more like cool dude, tattoos and stuff.
Yeah.
And this movie was, let's see, it was a lot of fun to watch, but you have to completely unplug your brain and be willing to understand that you're seeing a bunch of whack shit happening on the screen at all times. I had a good time watching it, but I was like, I was like, okay, this is fucking crazy. It's like almost like a Fast and the Furious movie.
Yes.
Like where you're like watching, you're like, this is fucking ridiculous.
Yes.
This is fucking beyond ridiculous. And it got repetitive also to a point where we see similar things happening over and over and over again. And another thing is that a lot of the stuff was not explained, and they were so busy like kind of like stuffing it and filling the screen with stuff happening that anything that was actually interesting, they just gloss over everything.
Yeah.
So like they try and do this world building and tell you about the Atlanteans and all these other fucks that I don't even know what they are. The brine and the fucking
trench.
The fishermen and the fucking the trench and the fucking the desert people. And you don't really know how any of this shit works, which is fine if they're going to build on it in future movies. But I felt like they needed a little bit more of a solid base to kind of build from there. And the romance didn't work. I mean, they had that one scene in Sicily where like they were flirting with each other a little bit, but that's not like and another thing is that there wasn't consistent with what happened before. So if you watch Justice League, Mera clearly knows Arthur, and Arthur clearly knows Mera.
That's what I thought.
And then all of a sudden they flip it all over the place.
Who are you again? I was like, you met him. You met her in the last movie.
So it was kind of like clunky in that way. So I can't really say that it was a great film. I could say I had fun while watching it.
Yeah.
And they really went for it visually. They really went for it. I admire James Wan for, like, I mean, look, the fact that they're doing this shit to try and make it look like it's underwater, and for the most part, that you can have nitpicks about how they did it, but it worked.
It's pretty successful, yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like amazingly like nailed it, but like it was good enough to like kind of buy it. All right, and that's what you got to get to, I guess, in a certain way with something like that, because like there's no way to fucking film this underwater. There is no fucking way to do it. So what they have to do is
really underwater.
It was neat.
No, they were on basically on like these robotic arms that was suspending them in the air,
and they had a rig on, and imagine
they had to pretend that they were swimming, and then they animated their hair to look like they were underwater and added bubbles in the.
But imagine all that work of removing all the rigs in every fucking shot.
There is literally layers and layers and layers and layers of CGI to create.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work to pull it off.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So it's very ambitious, and I gotta congratulate that, like the art direction and the fucking care that went into it.
Yeah,
they just needed a better. I don't know why they did. I think maybe they were either. This is my theory: is that they were trying to figure out how to do this without resting too much on Jason Momoa.
Yeah,
and they had all these other characters and side things going on to kind of like take the weight off of him, so you can kind of just do what he does best: look good and kick ass.
That's a good point.
And scowl. Look, I echo a lot of you guys' sentiments. I had a lot of fun, entertaining. This is a ridiculous, over the top, shamelessly silly, fucking turn your mind off. don't think about the physics in Atlantis because none of it. Dr. Adam Morris is going to have a fucking heart attack watching. Like, what? You can't do that. None of the physics work.
Just in the opening scene where he lifts the fucking sub up, everybody should just, with the pressure, they should all just implode.
They would have died from the bends immediately.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't depressurize them. But even the way they moved underwater. But, again, James Wan's visual underwater world was amazing. It's about like the best Aquaman movie you could make. Like, it's kind of what I expected. It could visually it could be better. Now,
no, visually it looks fantastic. That's the best you could do.
But plot wise, the fact that there is a solid base and it's in the comics. They just put it's like they thought they weren't going to get another movie, and they're like, let's fucking go balls to the wall.
It's kind of like when you go to a restaurant. I always make a food analogy.
Yeah.
So you go to a restaurant. And the service is bad, but they give you so much food and so many options that like you can't possibly eat it all and taste it all.
So you don't know exactly.
And not every dish is a slam dunk. Like some dishes are okay, some of them are good, some are not so good. So it's like kind of like a smorgasbord.
But they all look beautiful.
Yes,
they all look great when they're wet.
The presentation is amazing.
I mean, the movie is slightly forgettable, but it's fucking crazy bonkers. This movie has everything. It's got ninja crabs. It's got an octopus playing the drums. It's got fucking Power Rangers extras in suits shooting at people. What else? It's got a fucking giant kaiju.
I mean, I think I watched it from a totally different place than you guys, right? Like as a lay person.
That's why we have you here.
You know what? 100%.
There's no way you watch this like we're watching this.
But look, I went into this as I did with Wonder Woman, as I did with it's the same guy that made The Conjurings, right?
Yep.
The Conjurings and most horror films, like you have to go into it understanding that you're going to have to suspend reality for a little while.
Like, why would that person go in that room? But why would he open that door?
Exactly.
You know that something bad's going to happen.
Even the horror films have loopholes and story holes and stuff, and you leave with a lot of questions. But the reason I go to watch horror films is just to have that sort of like adrenaline rush to be scared. And the reason I went to this was to like see pretty things and
you definitely get a ton of pretty things.
Have a good time. I mean, it reminded me of so many different movies like Jewel of the Nile and Avatar and Romancing the Stone and a little Indiana Jones, a little bit of Mummy, a little bit of Thor, a little bit of Black Panther underwater. All the shit was in there. So before we continue, I do want to tell the listener, if you want to join this conversation, join our Facebook group. It's called Jock and Nerd Nation. It's exclusive. It's closed. It's just for you. People are joining all the time. I got to welcome the latest members, Lindsay Deschler, Jimmy Shia, and Jerome Omar Miller. Thanks for joining the group. Now, Jimmy Shia, I managed to grab his questions because we have questions when you join the group. Sometimes I see them. Sometimes they get by me. Jimmy, I got your questions. Question number 1, how did you find us? Scrolling through iTunes. Very good. What makes you want to join the nation? He says, you're my second favorite podcast after Kevin Smith.
Oh, shit.
But I can rely on you to put out content every week, which is great because we are
that's pretty awesome.
Quantity over quality. You just got to show up, people. Just show up and they love you. Finally, my favorite question. Who's your favorite host? This is always a tough one. Jimmy says, love all three of you guys, but might have to put Anthony at the bottom of the list. Sorry, Jock, still love you. So he was very tactful and didn't say who your favorite. He did say
he just mentions to call me out.
Just call you out. So I wonder if
right,
Ruggs, I'm going to say Ruggs is his favorite. I don't know. Jimmy, thanks for joining. Thanks for listening. Thanks for asking the questions. Back to Aquaman.
I hate you, Jimmy.
Yeah, well,
I'm not a host, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but he says loved all three of you guys.
All right.
All right. Anyways, we're going to get back to the movie, but I always have to play my favorite Aquaman clip when we talk about Aquaman.
But Aquaman, you cannot marry a woman without gills. You're from two different worlds. Oh, I've wasted my life.
He's got a point. Comic book guy has got a point. Yet, Tamora Morrison's Arthur Curry goes ahead and fucks a fish lady in the beginning of the movie. Anyways, let's just get into Anthony. I like your idea about narrating all the shit that happens because
I want to at least narrate the side plot where he has to find the Trident.
Let me just start with the beginning because here's all the stuff that happens before you even see the words Aquaman on the screen. Tom Curry finds Atlanta washed ashore. They fall in love, have a baby. Then the wall blows open and there's a fight scene with Power Rangers extras. By the way, every time there's 3 people talking in this movie, the fucking wall explodes. It's something they did that 4 times. Then Arthur shows his classmates that he can control fish. At which point I was like, now, well, everyone would know you're Aquaman.
Yeah.
And then you see the Aquaman title card. So there is a action scene before even the title card.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then a whole bunch of stuff. So, Anthony, what is the plot of this movie? Because, like, at the end, I was like, what did I just watch?
The plot is one of the more simplistic yet overly complicated things I've seen on screen.
And predictable.
I mean, the basic gist is a man of 2 worlds. He needs to get the Trident because or this magical item that will make him the king of the rightful heir to the throne of what's it, Atlantis?
Atlantis, which he doesn't want.
Which he doesn't want. So that's the basic gist, and there's a brother and all the shit. But the fucking plot. Well, so once there's a bunch of story leading up to the point where it's like, okay, Aquaman has to now go get this trident, like this magical trident that only one king has ever wielded, and now has put it in hiding. And mind you, there's been a lot of shit that's already happened up to this point. So at this point,
it's like halfway in the movie.
Usually the story is like 1, maybe 2 adventures.
Yeah.
So he leaves this battle with his brother, or he gets saved by Mira, goes off with Mira into hiding. They discover that the trident is in the Sahara. So then they go to the Sahara Desert.
Yes.
They fall into this fucking pit. They realize that they have to put this machine on this thing and put some water on it. He wants to pee on it. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, that's funny.
And then, okay, so that's not the... But
then the hologram is like...
Then a hologram happens. So then it's
Sicily.
like, now we're going to Sicily. Okay, so now the adventure continues to Sicily. They go to Sicily. They get in this like wild chase. They find out that the thing they got or whatever is like a map.
The bottle.
And up to this point, too, mind you, Aquaman, Jason Momoa, has been played up as being like this bro-y, tough biker guy. All of a sudden, for some reason, for this particular scene, he becomes smart. And is like, oh, wait a minute.
He knows everything about
He knows everything about the Atlantis.
He's like,
all of a
that
sudden.
bottle.
He's like, look, give me that thing. It's not this. It's not this king. It's not this king.
How do you
it's
know all
this
this?
king.
Yeah.
So then he takes it, fucking looks through. He realizes, okay, they got to go out in the fucking ocean. They get chased by Black Manta. Lots of shit happens. While not even getting to the ocean. Now they get to the fucking ocean. They're out on the fucking ocean.
Then they got to get past the trench.
Well, yeah. Now the fucking trench monsters come out, and now they got to get past these motherfuckers.
Oh, they're still not there yet.
Oh yeah, they're not. No, we're not even close. Then we get past the trench and we find out, matter of factly, that the middle of the earth somehow is sunlight.
Yeah, and dinosaurs and green trees.
Trees. The best part is there's fucking dinosaurs walking around. From my knowledge in this movie, this is the first time Jason Momoa or Amber Heard's Mira's character have ever gotten to the middle of the earth and seen dinosaurs.
Well, they have those dinosaurs that they're riding on. They're like
they're like those platypus like looking. Yeah, I guess you're right. Okay, well, definitely Aquaman's never seen some fucking dinosaurs.
Yeah,
there's just dinosaurs walking around. No one acknowledges this whatsoever. And that's not even explained why there's dinosaurs walking around. They get to this middle of the earth. They have to go through a waterfall. I'm still going here.
They're going through a waterfall to go somewhere else?
Yeah,
they got to go through a waterfall to go to another place.
We still haven't got to the Trident.
Is there a lion and a witch and a wardrobe?
Probably. There's a
They go to the waterfall, but then they realize that Atlanta's been down there this whole time, so she's been in hiding, so she's not dead. They go through this waterfall, and they're like, there's this fucking monster. No one's ever gotten past this monster.
And he's got to fight Mary Poppins.
So then he's got to fight this fucking monster. Then he fights this fucking monster, and then finally he gets the fucking trident because the monster realizes that he's fucking worthy, and he gets a trident, and now he is finally wearing gold and green. So we have overcomplicated this process to now 4 different tests that he had to get through.
A big battle scene.
Mind you, there's been battle scenes before, a huge climactic battle scene after. We've had flashback scenes throughout the movie. We've had the story of 2 worlds. We also have the story of his brother. We also have the story of the betrayal within his kingdom. We also have the story of the matter of fact that Atlantis was originally 7 kingdoms that were above ground and now have gone below the water. And each kingdom has its own little culture that we're meeting along the way.
Yeah.
And they're kind of explaining, but not really. They're like, oh, these people look like fish. Oh, wait, these people look like the trench. Oh, wait, there's a crab army that we have a climactic battle between this fucking army of crabs that we've never seen before and Orm's army. So it's holy shit. What the fuck is going on? That's what I'm talking about when this movie's batshit crazy.
That's the most passionate Anthony's been on the show in weeks. That was amazing.
You sound like Imran.
That was amazing.
I love talking about this movie because it is fucking insane.
It's an
I
insane
learned
film.
so much.
So it makes no sense.
It makes no sense, but it's also like you kind of have to like admire the
like
amount
ambition.
of
ambition. Let me put the brakes on this a little bit. All right. What Anthony said is actually very relevant, but the thing is like all of this stuff isn't wrong.
Yeah.
It's just that it's underexplained, and they just didn't spend any time building it correctly.
It's just one thing after
and that's
another.
why it just seems so random when it doesn't have to.
They could have cut all the Black Manta stuff out, saved it for another movie. The movie would have had room to breathe a little bit.
You could have saved him for the next film.
Yeah.
They didn't. I agree with you, Ruggs, in that I think, and you brought it up on the show. I didn't think of this until you brought it up. I think they didn't trust Momoa, and they were like, we need to do as much as we can to hide the fact that this guy doesn't have a ton of range as an
He never
actor.
has a scene by himself. He's only good when there's somebody there to work off of.
I don't think that that's true. I don't think that it's true that Momoa can't carry a film. The thing about Momoa is not that he can't act. It's just that he looks malevolent. All right? He looks like he should be the bad guy and not the good guy. He's not the heroic figure. I mean, even though he's Diesel, but he's a badass.
Yeah.
He's like the anti-hero. He's not like, in fact, if you look at Ocean Master, the guy who plays Ocean, he looks like the real Aquaman.
Yes.
Right. He's blonde. He's chiseled. He should be, that would be, if you threw him in the orange costume, he would be the heroic, happy, friendly Aquaman that everybody knows. So, I think that if you spend too much time with Jason Momoa and the way that they chose to portray him, like they could have told him, hey, clean shave, do a little
cut your hair,
cut your hair a little bit.
No, but you can't. He plays everything the same. So I think one thing that worked for me was that
they don't want him. They don't want to change his look.
So they made Aquaman
that's working.
Momoa. So they played up to what Momoa is good at in this dirtbag biker drunk Aquaman instead of making him like traditional Aquaman.
Right.
But I think they succeeded in making Aquaman a badass now and not a joke. Because he's riding a fucking seahorse, but he's riding a fucking badass. Yeah, he's doing these ridiculous things.
Badass seahorse.
But he's doing it badass. And even when he comes out in his gold and yellow, you're like, that's fucking badass. I think they succeeded in taking the joke out of this character.
It is quite kind of like I don't know. It's like the opposite of what you expect. It's subverting your expectation of what Aquaman's supposed to be.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, subverting expectations.
Right.
And both movies have diversity leads, which is also, that's great for 2 movies in a row. I don't know.
That's a stretch, but yeah, okay.
I mean, he's Hawaiian or Samoan or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, he is. But the thing is, it's like, you can't just hang that on that, whatever that may be.
Just saying buzzwords.
That doesn't make the acting any better. That doesn't make the portrayal any better. Yeah. But look, I'll tell you this. That whole part where Aquaman boards the sub and he kicks everybody's ass, that was great.
Yeah, it's badass.
That was really fun to watch. It was like, he looks at the camera and basically winks at the camera.
Like, hey.
That's funny.
He's like, hey guys, I'm about to kick some ass. Come watch.
I'm pretty sure they did at least 2 parts where they slow motion, where they had him look at the camera and the guitar riff.
And the guitar riff would start and then it would stop and it cut away and it'd go back to him and it'd be like,
let me reiterate then if Rugboy doesn't agree. I think that Momoa can't act all that well, and I think they overstuffed it. I
think he has charisma, but
I think he has physical charisma, but I don't think he can act like the parts where he's like, I don't think I'm worthy of doing this. I'm like, bro, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it doesn't work. It falls flat. You don't buy it. But that's why there's somebody else with him. When you put Willem Dafoe and Patrick Wilson, he's going to look better.
Honestly, I thought Amber Heard was pretty terrible.
She was it was a weird delivery.
I think what made the movie terrible more than it should have is the music. I think that the music score being there and all of a sudden changing tone for when it's supposed to be a romantic part.
Yeah.
It was so audible that they were trying to manipulate your emotions and you're like, dude, this is TV level music. going, like music cues happening. Like I feel like I'm watching Dawson's Creek.
You didn't appreciate Pitbull's remake of Africa?
No.
Why does Pitbull exist?
terrible.
Holy shit, he covers Toto's
Just
Africa.
play the regular version.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why Pitbull? And
How about the music they played when Black Manta's making his armor?
the montage scene.
That?
Yes.
The
That's
montage scene?
Depeche Mode.
Yes.
That's Depeche Mode, yeah.
Oh,
But I was like,
Depeche
what
Mode.
is that?
Suddenly it's montage and he's spray painting it black and he's like, I'm gonna need a bigger helmet. The fucking
That was like jarring.
there was part like I'm trying to think of things that work, but I keep thinking of things that don't work. Like the fucking dialogue was so bad and cheesy. And
I'll tell you what
predictable.
works. Jason Momoa kicking people's ass.
Yes.
Fine.
Yes.
What else?
The action
I think
scenes.
some of the flashbacks were okay.
Yeah.
No, they weren't bad.
The training
All right.
scenes.
Of him and whatever. I think
Willem
that
Dafoe.
the CG was great.
I like James Wan's spinning fight scene choreography stuff.
But they overused it.
They
I
did
thought
it a
they
few
overused
times.
it.
Yes, they did it numerous times.
They overused like the fact that there's like all of these. They used like the whole like the horseman like cavalry thing
Yeah,
where they're running into
riding
each
in,
other.
yeah.
Like that becomes nothing after a while. Like you need to actually single out some people and see them fucking face off a little bit. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, if you watch like Braveheart.
Yeah.
Or you watch any of these movies that have like these gigantic battle scenes,
Or like
where
Game
these,
of Thrones, you can follow.
Yeah, they kind of pick out a few people, and you can see, and then they pull back, and you see all.
I did think you could follow. You can follow his action pretty well.
I thought the stuff in Sicily was very well
The
shot.
whole Sicily
Yeah,
scene
that
was
was
great.
great.
The long dragon
It
shots.
did remind me of G.I. Joe.
Oh
it did.
yeah,
It looked like G.I. Joe.
yeah. That's not a good movie.
That's another thing that this movie was like. People are like, what do you compare this to? I'm like, remember G.I. Joe, the fucking movie where it was like it's legit like trying to be a toy like a TV cartoon, and it was just like unapologetic about it.
Yeah.
This is the same thing. It was
Yeah,
just as
it is like
cheesy.
G.I. Joe. The first one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those
with
are
Channing
not-
Tatum.
it's a not
I mean,
good
when they're in
movie.
their accelerator suits, it reminded me of the
Yeah.
Aquaman suits or the under those whatever the fuck those suits were that kept people alive on the on land.
Sophia, what else works for you? Anything else you can?
What worked or what didn't?
No.
I'm now thinking of things.
Oh, what didn't work for
Oh,
you?
we don't want to make you.
We're gonna make her hate
negative
this movie.
on this.
No, I just wondered. Remember, I asked you,
Yeah,
like,
you had a good question.
Why? So the whole movie, like, when they're flashing back and showing how he learned, like, how to swim and all this stuff,
Yeah.
you get this. It's a very clear message. He's special. He swims very fast.
Right.
But why do they need vehicles then?
Yeah, that was very interesting.
I'm like, they swim so fast. Why do they
I was
need a
thinking
vehicle?
that during,
They get
during the
tired.
movie. That was the only thing I could come up
But
with.
they're
Either
superheroes.
But then why not ride a
They have
fucking dolphin?
superpowers.
You got fucking animals.
And by the way, what is Aquaman's actual superpower?
That's
like,
another
he
thing.
breathes underwater, but then he can't get obviously he doesn't get stabbed
Only
or
Atlantean
shot.
steel
yeah, he's
can
super
hurt him.
strong. He's basically like Superman underwater.
He can talk. Okay.
I thought they all would have the same power, so only he could talk to fish. Is that what the deal
Yeah,
is?
but Mira has a different power than everybody else.
Mira has
Yeah,
a
she
different
pulls
power.
the water out of stuff.
And
They never explain that either. That she's special.
Apparently, if you're royal, you can go on land without.
Oh yeah,
those suits.
she said the highborn,
or something.
And that's just in
can
a
breathe air and
throwaway
water.
line.
Yeah,
because she could breathe too.
air and water.
she could breathe air
Yeah.
and water. Yeah.
The highborn, but
The boat thing was fucking weird. I was like, wait, these
The
because there's
brother,
points
can the
where
brother breathe on land?
yes, he can.
yes, he's highborn.
Because there's points where they like sonic boom through the water.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
could swimsuit, and
So-
it looked cool. It looked great. It was like
Right,
Man of
so-
Steel flying. But why do you need these ships? And also in the ships, it was full of water. Like there wasn't like an air pocket in the thing. Like
but there
the
was
hair
like
still
a
floating.
protective.
But
visor
why?
or
It's all
something.
water. Why
Yeah.
do you need the protective shield when it's full of water?
Well, in the sky, you need to be protected from the air, right?
I guess.
Same thing.
Yeah, I was thinking there might be. I mean, that one didn't bother me as much, but yeah, there might be like they can go a lot faster. Like I can run,
Yeah.
but I can't run as fast as I can go be in a car.
I'll take a car to the
Or a
next state
bike.
over. I guess.
Yeah, I
Okay.
guess you wouldn't get tired.
I mean, it was a cool Avatar looking. I did really love Atlantis and the way they realized that it was fucking the
But
luminescent
this is the
plants.
thing I don't get.
Cool looking.
Okay, this is and I don't even know why I'm thinking about this, but they were like making such a big deal about going. Those motherfuckers on land, they fucking have their sewage system going into the
That's right.
ocean. I'm like,
Fuck
well, where
them.
does your shit go? Where does it go?
They just
Where does your shit
They
go?
don't produce
Where does all
shit.
your garbage go? Do you make garbage? Like, what the fuck?
Well, no, it's kind of like a Wakanda place, right? It's advanced technology.
No, but at least in Black Panther, they explain it's vibranium. Like, where is all their tech coming from? What is all this? What?
No, it comes from the Trident. The Trident powered all
everything.
This. Yeah.
Okay, fine.
But then, again, there's another point of this movie being it's great, right? It's minty. The point of this being so overstuffed too is like that line right there, like that could be a legitimate just story for the movie.
Yeah,
is the abuse humans put on the water and all that stuff. That could be a theme running throughout. But it's like a few throwaway lines, but then it's like not even really picked up because they never even fight the surface world.
It was also the basis of their whole threat of making this war against the surface world.
Which I'm behind King Orm. He's kind of like Killmonger. I mean, he's got a point.
He's got a point.
He's just going about it the fucking wrong way, as they do.
And if these people are so strong, like they should have destroyed man like a million years ago.
Also, why didn't he just fucking kill Arthur when he was a kid if he was so worried that he
didn't know? Oh, well, he didn't know.
No, Atlanta went back, remember? And
that's true.
They knew he was alive. Just go kill him. And there wouldn't be a movie.
I don't know if they knew that who she fucked, though.
Yeah, probably not.
Because Atlanta killed all those people.
Yeah. What? So why did some of the Atlanteans evolve into like horrific fish creatures and some of them just stayed human?
They said there's a throwaway line. Some regressed.
Yeah.
Why
did they went back?
Okay.
They went back into like fish mode.
I liked that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I liked it that there's different kinds of Atlanteans. It's just we don't ever have any time to breathe with any of them. No. So like we see them and then they're gone, and we see this next one. Like the movie needed to be like streamlined a little bit, but then also like let us breathe with these
What would you want to see? Like if you were to pare it down, what would be the crux of the movie?
I mean, I would have kept the same crux of like the brother, and I would have given the brother the motivation of like I would have fully realized that he is pissed off at the surface world for the things that have happened, that they've done to the water and done to their home unknowingly. I would have ramped that up a lot. I would have taken back like the jealousy angle. I would have like made that like a secondary motivation, because that's the first motivation for him, is that the jealousy really is.
But it should be more like you're one of them.
Right. Yeah. And I would have totally taken out Black Manta's plot. I wouldn't even have like had him unite I would have already had a lot of the kingdoms united. So he's not going on this path of like taking over each kingdom and seeing it on screen. Like I would have taken some of that out too.
Go through so much.
Even Worm's character had to go through a lot just to get to the last battle.
I like the Ocean Master's costume.
The last battle is like between a group of one group of people involved in the battle we haven't even met.
Right.
We beat them in the last battle.
Yeah. And then
it's like the coolest looking ones. It's the people that look like fucking crabs.
Yeah, it's the crab people. And then he comes in and
I thought the last battle was going to be like, from the trailers and stuff. I thought it was going to be like Aquaman's army versus Orm's army. I didn't know it was going to be Orm's army.
They could have elegantly done this in like a meeting where they're all present and they're talking about, we're not going to fucking team up with you. You're an asshole. Right? Well, fuck you. You don't, whatever. And then they could talk amongst themselves and learn. They could, in that conversation, you can learn about them.
Right.
But they didn't do that.
We never got any chance to learn really about any of these people.
Yeah.
It was all just, it was breakneck. Like the movie is entertaining, but also like really exhausting.
It's very exhausting.
By the end of the movie, I was like somewhat bored and exhausted.
Why do you think China went for it so much?
It's fucking crazy.
They love the
because it's visually entertaining.
It's visually entertaining. It's escapist.
It's just a visual film.
It's definitely an escape. That. This is, if you go into film and like not and want to shut off your brain and not think about life, Aquaman's fucking perfect.
it is kind of a comic book come to life. Also, like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, but it's just so fucking goofy and nonsensical all the time. And why didn't he care about his mom? Like another great story would have been him looking for his mom, trying to fix that and get revenge.
I guess he just thought
he was dead. She was dead.
They told him his whole life, not yet, not yet. He kept asking in all the flashbacks. He was asking.
And then they told her she was dead.
I meet my mom.
Yeah,
yet?
That's right. And
he said, "You're not ready yet. You're not ready yet." And then eventually he told him.
But also, to anybody, how predictable was it when she showed up? I think you knew pretty soon. You're like, oh, that's going to be the mom.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know that she was going to show up for sure, but you don't cast what's that actress's name?
Nicole
Kidman just for a cameo part like that. Although, then again, Ant-Man and the Wasp had Michelle Pfeiffer for basically a cameo.
And she reminded me of Michelle Pfeiffer and Ant-Man and the Wasp in this role. Let's talk about the CGI a little bit. The de-aging and the hair.
The de-aging was a little questionable.
Yes, it was.
I thought Tamura Morrison?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he looked creepy as fuck young.
It works sometimes better than other times. Like, it wasn't consistently good. Maybe they overused it. I don't know.
Did you notice this, Sophia? Have you seen there's a trend where these older actors and actresses are now doing Marvel movies like Kurt Russell, Michael Douglas, because Marvel has this technology that could make them beautiful again like they were in their 20s. Like in Captain Marvel, watch the Captain Marvel trailer. Sam Jackson is completely de-aged to look how he looked like 20 years ago. It's amazing. They don't have I don't think Warner Brothers has quite the best technology.
It's close. It's just not as.
Did you notice anything?
I did not. I was completely
unaware. Did Nicole Kidman age at the end, or was she young the whole time? I couldn't.
No, she was aged.
Okay, her face looked a little floaty. Like it reminded me of wasn't as bad as Henry Cavill's Justice League mustache
No,
flip.
that's terrible.
But it was. I thought Tamara Morrison Young looked okay. Nicole Kidman, I kept staring at her face. I was like, there's something wrong with her face. What is going on?
It just looks so glossy.
Yeah, it was like so smooth and like porcelain. It just, I don't know. It didn't look real. Do you guys think the pros outweigh the cons of this movie enough to save it?
I don't know. I mean, I think that obviously China has spoken.
Yes.
They love this movie.
Yeah.
All right. And maybe some other places where it's going to open, some other countries it's going to be loved just as much because it's a visual feast.
Yeah.
It is a experience. Someone asked me today, should I go watch this movie? I'm like, if you smoke weed, go watch it because you will fucking have a great time. You will be fucking stoned and seeing shit, and you're going to be like, holy God, what the fuck am I watching? This is crazy. So I can't tell people not to see it because it is something to see.
It is.
There's something to see.
It's a good time at the movies.
Just like Into the Spider-Verse. Even though I don't like some of the shit they did with the animation, I think that overall you should see it.
That is
it's
a definite
great.
must-see.
Okay? It's a great animated film, and you should see it on the big screen. It's worth seeing. So same thing with this. It's like they put so much care and so much work into the creating this underwater world that it's worth seeing. Is it a good movie? That's a completely different question.
Sophia, what else didn't work for you or what did work or any other observations from the Momoa, or are you just too transfixed staring at his...
I'm a bit too transfixed.
And those are his real tattoos.
But I think everything... I mean, what?
Those are his real tattoos. That's pretty fucking crazy.
All of them?
I think they're all real.
I think so.
I don't know. I don't think so.
They're like his Hawaiian family crest or something.
I don't know. I think I should Google that.
Google it.
There's some fun Easter eggs in the movie that I did like. Steppenwolf gets a mention, which is the villain from Justice League. But again,
was he?
Yeah, she said you beat Steppenwolf. You saved Atlantis.
That's the only acknowledgement that Justice League even happened.
And I was surprised to learn that they didn't know each other. They didn't even know each other's names. They mentioned the oil rig explosion from Man of Steel when Orm is like all these events happen. They show the oil rig explosion, which is kind of neat. There's a
Aquaman's tattoos are fake.
What?
Not all of them.
Not all of them, but a lot of them are.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it would be hard to get work in other movies, I suppose, if were just covered.
He has a lot of tattoos.
He does have a lot of tattoos.
Because there's a picture of him with his shirt off. He just has
triangles.
The triangles on his arm, and that's it.
Oh, okay.
The rest of it's all like spray painted.
Which kind of fits. Coast City, there's a newspaper clipping in the mid-credits scene from Coast City, which is the home of Green Lantern. There's an Annabelle doll in one scene in the water near where Mira kept her spaceship in the shipping container. You see this Annabelle doll real quick float by if you're looking for it. So the octopus playing drums, which this movie doesn't know what it wants to be. Like, are you a cartoon? Are you a rom-com? Are you an adventure? It's everything. It's like 5 different genres. But Topo the octopus is an actual character from Aquaman comics that debuted in 1965. It is the first named octopus to assist Arthur in his battles. So, and then of course, Black Manta's giant helmet. I love that they explain why it was big. It's disappointing that it was a one-dimensional character. And how the fuck do you turn water into plasma energy? I would like to know. How does that technology work? I don't get it. And then, like, the big Julie Andrews Kraken was kind of like a Cthulhu, a Lovecraftian monster, and there was an H.P. Lovecraft book in the beginning under the snow globe. So they were playing hard on that. Basically, what are Juan's strengths in this movie? Like the surprise he overdoes over and over again. I think his action scenes, this movie is as good as just the special effects scenes.
I think that the biggest strength in this movie is the ambition of trying to do this and trying to like make all this stuff happen. Some of it didn't work, but some of it did. And like, I would say like, it was 50-50.
Yeah.
It was like the stuff that worked kind of was really cool. And the stuff that didn't work was kind of really bad. But there's a few scenes in there that kind of had some gold in it. And then I feel like that if he had a better script to work with and better producers that would steer him in the right direction, I think it would be better. It would be a better movie.
I mean, clearly they let him throw everything against the wall and nobody said no.
Yeah, I think they just needed to show some restraint. Like a better script. I think the script wasn't great.
Wasn't great, but it's lighthearted. It's flimsy like a comic book or a cartoon. So it kind of works. And this universe, DC's movies have had this problem of being too dour and fucking depressing and nobody's
this
smiling.
This is not dour.
No, I didn't mind the tone at all.
No, the tone, but
I think the tone was actually right on
for Aquaman. It's like this is what you expect from Aquaman.
It's like the tone was all over the place, but like I think that with the pocket they were trying to hit was like this kind of like, all right, things matter.
Yeah.
But we could still have fun.
Yeah.
And they were trying to stay in that pocket, and sometimes they went awry.
Yeah.
And things like fell flat, but like they were going for this pocket, and I think that that's not a bad place to be. They just got to do it better. Marvel does it like all the time. They know how to do it. Like I just watched Infinity Wars on Netflix right now.
Yep.
So I just rewatched that, and I mean they stay in that pocket where things are like there's still levity and fun and stuff, but there's also like really
there's stakes and there's
stakes and there's a seriousness to it.
Yeah,
and it's good.
I think that's a great point. I think Marvel obviously they've nailed that where they stay in their lane of being not cheesy, like acknowledging it's a comic, but not being cheesy. Whereas I think this one, obviously is acknowledging a comic, but got to the point for me where it was like, this is really cornball-y.
They went for it. Yeah, they went in that whole comic book direction.
I mean, if you look at like any of Black Manta's lines,
they're so bad.
They're all so cheesy.
First of all,
I'm gonna kill. What do you want? I want to kill Aquaman.
Yeah, his dad's like, you better kill this guy.
He's like, yeah,
what's the last? What do you? Don't save me. Just kill Aquaman.
That's what he said. He's like, Dad, no. He's like, you gotta get out here so you can kill this son of a bitch. And then that one where first Arthur shows up and Manta's like, I think we hit something. And the father turns and goes, I think something hit us. I was like, oh, really? Really?
How about,
fucking predictable dialogue?
How about another fucking stupid ass cornball scene? Was when they board the sub for the first time. They're on the mission. They're pirates. They're boarding the sub.
It's a pirate movie also.
Yeah. And his dad decides, you know what? This is a great moment for me to talk to my son and have a father-son moment.
To give you this knife.
Pass along this knife. You've earned this, kid.
I'll be like, Dad, you're doing this now?
They could have done it after they did.
Yeah, you could have maybe done it after you completed the mission.
Yeah.
Not
I
in
just
the middle.
couldn't wait. I had to
We're
give
in the
you
middle
this
of
knife.
a pirate heist. There's people shooting at us. Can this wait for a second? Just like the kiss in the middle of the battle.
I like when people announce their names. Call me Ocean Master.
They did that a lot.
Call me Black Manta.
Although you didn't know that you made a comment. When he said his name, you're like, what did he say? Like
sounded like Black Panther to me.
It's like Black Panther.
What's happening?
And I noticed somebody else said they heard just Black Man, and they didn't hear he swallowed that last line. And the fact that he's in a helmet, you can't see his lips. So that line should have just been above the audio mix a little bit. A lot of people didn't get that his name was Black Manta, even when he said it. But yeah, everyone is announcing their names. You have to do that. And then all these, I kind of like how the movie ends like Wonder Woman, where it's like that hero shot at the end. Remember Wonder Woman's taken off in Paris? And this one, he just freezes into like the perfect comic book cover shot. Now, is there a scene in this movie that is memorable, like the Wonder Woman No Man scene where she comes out of the fucking trench in World War I? Is amazing. That is such an instantly iconic, amazing superhero scene.
You know why they don't have
this movie's got none of that.
they don't have it because they went for that scene, and in every scene they shot.
Yes. James Wan is like,
every scene was that scene.
Every scene they tried to be that scene.
Seriously, every time someone's talking, the wall fucking explodes, and there's
the
another
wall
fight.
explodes.
Jesus.
There's a fucking they're riding a crocodile. There's an octopus playing the drums. Like, Jesus Christ, there is every detail in every scene is doing something.
It was all balls to the wall. And how come some things sink and some things float? I noticed that a lot.
What are you talking about?
Like underwater. Like, what are the physics of this fucking place?
Well, I was the whole movie I was thinking about was like, whenever they film these land scenes, they just had to like hose down these actors and actresses with water because they always have to come out looking wet. So you're spending the entire filming
all wet,
like all the film just being wet.
There was various levels of dryness though that were inconsistent. Also, sometimes they were immediately dry, sometimes they weren't wet. Sophia, what did you think of the red hair wig on Mira? Too red? Was it necessary?
It was a bit too red, but
too red.
But I think like it fit the feel of the film. If you're going for this goofball, like entertaining, visually entertaining,
the colors are so bright and everything.
Was anybody distracted by the CGI hair underwater?
Yeah,
not really. Not for me. The only reason the red wig didn't work.
There's so many other things to be.
The only reason the red wig didn't work is because I saw what she wore in Justice League, and I was like, that's a good red.
It wasn't that red. Yeah. It was like a
no.
orange
It was like
red.
it was like a natural redhead.
Also, in Justice League, she made an air bubble so they could talk, but apparently they could just talk on water. So they hadn't thought of that when they did
what
Justice
the
League.
Yeah, she had to make an air bubble, and now they're just like, oh, we can just talk.
We just talk, which I thought would bother me, but you can't think about how's the sound traveling through. How are they hearing?
Who cares?
How are we hearing these things? How are they able to move so fast? And it's underwater in some of these fight scenes. Man, they're superhuman. They've adapted, I guess. You just can't think about it. You can't think about it too much.
Yeah, like
why is there sunlight at the core of the earth?
Fight scenes would be pretty slow in
That'd be very slow. Listen, we are going to rate and rank this movie now. But before we do, we're going to take a quick break so I can play some promos and some fun podcasts. And we'll be right back after this with Ask Her Anything About Me.
Ahem.
Ahem.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
If you're looking for a sports hosting show that gives you the flavor.
Tom Brady thrown for over 60,000 yards, the most playoff victories, the most Super Bowls, the most Super Bowl MVPs. He is not the greatest of all time.
That brings the energy.
Shaq quote, "The earth is flat." Close quote. "The earth is round."
That isn't about
this or that. It ain't this or that. Charles Barkley, 1994. You stole 2 home games in the Western Conference semifinals against the Rockets. Your team blows it in 7. 1 year later, up 3 games to 1. 2 games at home, and you blow that too.
Then you've come to the right place.
I am that man, your man, the illustrious tour guide Cole Johnson. Cole Sports!
On Cole Sports with the Z.com.
What's up, guys? This is Gerald and my buddy right across from me, as always,
Andy.
We are Two Peas on a Podcast, and we want to invite you to join us weekly as we discuss. What do we talk about?
We talk about a little bit of everything.
We talk about too much
events.
We talk about too
politics,
much
sports. We even talk about sports. We're dudes.
We talk about too much stuff. In fact, don't join us. It's too much. It's too complicated.
I think you're confusing them, Gerald.
We are a weekly podcast discussing current events, pop culture, hot topics.
Hot. The topics are hot.
Not the retail store, just hot topics.
I used to love that. Was a great store.
If anything happened at Hot Topic, we would discuss that as well.
You want to get you a black Metallica shirt and some studded earrings?
Yeah, we'll talk about that. But my name's Gerald and my buddy Andy, and you can catch us on Two Peas on a Podcast. Please go to our website. It's twopeasonapod.com.
Check it out.
Check us out on Twitter at Two Peas on a Pod, and subscribe via iTunes or Google Play. We hope to hear you listening. We can't do that though, can we?
No, we can do. We can hear them listening.
We hope to see that you listened via our stats or whatever.
We're everywhere.
But check us out. Two Peas on a Podcast, guys.
Jock and Nerd.
Listener, check out our awesome fan club. Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon where you can support the show and you get more show. A bonus podcast feed full of lots of content, lots of silliness and nonsense. And our fan club members are enjoying this every week. Now, Sophia, believe it or not, people give us money for doing this.
Damn.
And on our Patreon page, I had set this goal, and I didn't know we'd hit it. It was in the beginning when we started. I was like, I didn't think we'd make any money. The goal was, if we get to $300 a month, we'll do a bonus thank you only episode. And I just threw it, and I picked a random number, just threw it out there, never thinking we'd have to do this. Well, fellas, guess what? The goal has been met.
Oh, sucking nerd.
We are above $300 a month on the Patreon. Thank you, everyone. So we will do a bonus thank you episode, thanking each and every one of our patrons.
And we'll discuss something.
Yes, there's
I
new
think
goals.
what we should do is we should discuss for that show.
Yeah.
We should have a topic that we wouldn't normally discuss on the main show.
Okay.
Like not a comic booky topic.
Whoa, it could get crazy.
Politics.
Maybe.
We could.
We do that from time.
We do that on the post show from time to time. Just some crazy hydrothermodynamics.
I'm ready.
Okay. We'll do that. How about the science of the slinky? We could do that. Now,
that's a good one.
So here's what happened. People noticed that we were really close to $300, and a little pledge drive happened like out of nowhere within days. Roberto Rivera, thank you for increasing your pledge from $5 to $10 a month. He gets to pick a movie. He gets to pick a movie at that level. John Campbell increased $3. Thank you, Detective John Kimball. It's not a tumor. John Seifert, then, our patron saint of awesome, matched Campbell and raised another $3. Keith and Denkinger increased from $10 a month to $20 a month. Oh, shit. So now, not only did he get to pick a movie, he gets to come on the show, Keithan. You have earned it. Jose Ibarra increased from $1 to $10 a month. He gets to pick a movie, and that put us over the top. I can't believe we hit this goal. I just made up this number. Now,
thank you, everybody.
So you made up another number. What is
I made up 2 more numbers. We have 2 more goals. He helped. I love these goals. First of all, thank you, everyone, who for your continued monthly support. It means a lot. We get to cover the show. We get to do a lot of stuff, and I hope you're enjoying the bonus content. Here are the new goals. If we reach $450 per month, we will record one full bonus Patreon-only episode every month. Geek Boner.
In addition to all the other Patreon stuff
to everything
the live reactions,
the post show,
Patreon-only show.
Patreon-only show once a month. So
once a month, and the movie reviews that we do for Patreon on an occasion.
Yep. So if you are a normal non-subscriber, you are getting 4. We put out a show every Sunday, so you're getting 4 shows a month. Join the Patreon. If we hit 450, everyone gets 5 shows a month, including the Patreon. The next goal, this one's a beauty, fellas. If we get to $600 a month on the Patreon, I will allow Anthony to give me a full head to toe, top to bottom, asshole to, what's the opposite of the asshole? Asshole to the other part, makeover. A full makeover. We'll film. I'll get someone to film it and cut a little piece like it's a fucking TLC TV show. And we've already had some people post suggestions on what they should do. Anything from
a lot of them,
the police to Jason Statham.
I enjoyed Fiddlesticks Winterbottom taking it very seriously.
Fiddlesticks had a lot of
and giving a lot of advice on how to make you over.
Yes.
And what to do with your hair and all that shit.
It's just they want to fix you, Imran.
If you can fix a mess like me, it will take $600 a month, by the way, to get this done. Here's what Fiddlestick says. He says, I was listening to the pre-show, love the makeover idea, but don't shave Imran's head bald. That's like a 21st century toupee. If Imran has enough hair to work with, shave his sides and back with a number 2 and leave the top a little longer like this. And he posts a picture of Elder Sting. But I don't think I have enough hair. There's also the Jason Statham look, which is short hair. Oh, where'd that picture go? Anyways, there's a lot of advice.
You don't have enough hair for the first look.
But Anthony, you could do whatever you want. You could shave my beard, my head.
I already know what barber I'm going to take you to.
Holy shit. Sophia, what do you think? Do you think he can improve this mess with a full makeover?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll take much to improve.
Little things. The last...
Ouch.
I mean, I'm looking at him now. I just kind of want him to clean his glasses.
Oh, shit. That's never going to happen.
I can see a ton of
Fuck that.
I
need new glasses.
bothering me.
Okay, these are all good points. But
$600 a
I
month.
just clean your glasses now.
He ain't cleaning his glasses
All
until
right.
$600
we gotta
a
get to
month.
six.
comes
So
in.
those are the new goals, patrons. Just check out the.
Let me make the appeal.
Yeah.
This man is walking around with fingerprints on his glasses.
Yes.
Let's get to 600.
Although
true.
the last few days I have had Anthony approved outfits. I've done better.
I did.
What is an
today was
Anthony
good.
approved outfit?
It's a good question.
It's something that doesn't make him look, so you don't see the fact that he's carrying some extra weight. Let's put it that way.
Shit.
He tends to wear, if he wears like his button downs that fit him and he tucks them in, he looks all right. Or if he wears like nice sweaters, pullovers, they look right. But when he wears the t-shirts or the long tees that are a little baggy,
It's all about flattering wear.
Imran, you have your own Tan France right here. Let him do it.
Wait, who's that?
From Queer Eye.
Oh, I have my own Queer Eye. I see.
Yeah.
No, Anthony goes to the trunk club. He knows how to dress. The guy goes to like, he's a dude. Unlike, I don't know.
He's a
Modern
sexy
dude.
man.
He's a modern.
He's our Jason Momoa.
Yes, he really is. He's the show's Jason Momoa. So,
Permission to board.
Yes, absolutely.
Permission to make you over.
Jason Momoa doesn't wear any shirts.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't need to.
Hey, at CrossFit,
Neither does Anthony.
At CrossFit, I don't wear any shirts either.
Oh.
I showed you. I was showing her photos of you, and a lot of them were shirtless. So I was like, just so you know what he looks like.
Wait, why do you have shirtless photos of me?
They're on your fucking Facebook, bro.
Oh, right.
You have shirtless photos of you.
That's true.
Why don't I have them?
I will download them and email them to everyone. Don't worry.
I don't want to deal with the garbage you deal with.
jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Sign
I
up.
guarantee you, immediately on our Facebook group, there's going to be a shirtless Anthony thread happening right now.
It's occurring even before we put the show out. Okay, look, let's finish up the Aquaman review by let's rate it. Let's give it a number out of 10.
All right.
And then we'll rank it. Sophia, you don't have to rank it because you haven't seen the other movies.
Yeah.
But let's start with you, Sophia. Out of 10, what would you give this movie?
I'll go with 7.
Okay. That's a solid number. Interesting. All right. Who wants to go next? Anthony.
Oh, man. Well, I'll rank it first.
Okay. So we're ranking it between Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, Justice League, Aquaman.
It's tough. I mean, Wonder Woman's for me is number one. Other than that, I mean, after that, it's kind of a toss-up.
Then it kind of falls apart.
I think Aquaman will be number 2.
Oh,
it was either that or Man of Steel for me.
Yeah.
But again, number 2, but the rest is not great. So this is not a strong 2.
No, they had a low bar to start already with these
But
movies.
I appreciate the ambition. As far as a number, man, I'm gonna go with a 5.1.
Damn.
Yowzers.
The 0.1, is that necessary?
I wanted to make it distinct that I was debating between 4.9 and 5.1 because 4.9 is like distinctly like this is a below average film, and I wanted to be like
it's a movie.
This is not just a movie, but there's the 0.1 is like ambition. I appreciate the ambition.
Okay, you're giving a little brownie
I'll
points.
give it like a little pat. That's like the pat on the back. Like,
okay.
You went for it.
Interesting, Rugboy. What's your rank? What's your rate?
I would probably put this Wonder Woman's the best,
Yes.
I guess, as a whole movie because you have something that's great, which is the actress that can carry the film, that you kind of fall in love with this actress, and she kind of like, becomes a star because of it.
See, I think
she's carrying this movie.
She is an amazing presence. She's a better Wonder Woman than Momoa is in Aquaman a little bit.
Yeah. So there's that. So that's right there and there's that moment where she does she's at no man's land and it's iconic and there's an iconic scene there and it's not overstuffed. So it's like even though that last act is really weak and CG is bad and there's some horrible stuff going on, it still ranks on top of this movie.
Yeah.
I would probably put Man of Steel and Aquaman tied for second.
Okay, that's interesting. That makes sense.
And then everything else falls underneath. That's with Batman vs. Superman being the dead last, and then Suicide Squad being
the next last.
Yeah.
What number?
Rating? I'm gonna give it a solid 6.
There you go.
All right. I was leaning towards a 7. It's a 7. But man, again, Wonder Woman, the top, and I went back and forth between Man of Steel or Aquaman. Whereas Man of Steel, he's he's trying something different, and there's some kind of discussion you could have of the movie. It's challenging, but Aquaman is straight comic book fun, not as dour. So it is kind of tied. Fuck, I don't know. Let's go Aquaman second.
They're two completely different
They're
movies.
so different, but
even though in their same genre.
But they're the top 3 out of these 6. And then I would go, what the fuck is the other one? Justice League, then BVS, and I would put Suicide Squad last.
All right.
All right, that seems pretty good.
I can't wait for this next segment.
What's coming up? Real quick, what's coming up for DC movies next year? Shazam!
Did you see the preview for that,
Sophia?
Yep.
Sophia?
Oh, you did? What did you think of that?
We saw it.
They played it before the movie.
Is that a movie you're going to want to see?
It looks entertaining, yeah. Looks humorous.
Yeah, I was actually, I meant to ask you what you thought
I've
about that.
seen the trailer twice now.
Okay.
But it looks fun. I mean, again, another fun, colorful movie,
Yeah,
which
it looks
is
fun,
not what they
colorful,
have.
entertaining.
Yeah.
Probably, again, have to suspend our sort of expectations of reality. And
to what
just
degree?
go to enjoy it.
Yeah. The next one, here's an interesting movie they're doing. They're doing a movie about the Joker. It's an origin story, October 4th, 2019. I don't know if you've heard about this.
No.
Joaquin Phoenix playing the Joker. This movie also has Robert De Niro, Brian Callen, Zazie Beetz, and it's like this. It's his origin story in the 70s of the Joker, a failed stand-up comic, turns into the Joker. Very out of left field. It's like a standalone. You know, what's his name was the Joker in this universe? Jared Leto, the worst Joker fucking ever. So they didn't pick him, but they're going to make a Joker movie for him. So we'll have that. Shazam comes out on my birthday next year, which is fun. And then Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn is the title of this movie that comes out February 7th, 2020. This is Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad with the Huntress and a couple other female stars.
Deadpool.
It's their Deadpool, and it's going to be R-rated. And then Wonder Woman 1984 is the sequel. Comes out. It got pushed back. It was supposed to come out next year. It got pushed back to June 5th, 2020. And those are the only 4 movies DC actually has release dates for. They have said they're working on like 20 other movies, but none of these movies ever are going to happen.
Is that Wonder Woman also going to be like an all-woman cast and crew?
It's Patty Jenkins is back, probably the same writer. Gal Gadot is back, and guess what? Spoilers: Chris Pine is in this movie.
Spoiler alert.
Remember what happened to Chris Pine at the end of Wonder Woman?
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
And the girl from Saturday Night Live is the bad guy.
Oh, Kristen Wiig plays Cheetah. Do you remember the end of Wonder Woman? He supposedly died in the plane, Chris Pine.
Yeah.
And it's like in World War I.
Yeah.
Well, this movie takes place in 1984, and Chris Pine, Steve Trevor is in the movie. Yes, that face you're making is exactly what everyone is like. How the fuck are you going to do this? Time travel? I don't know. Okay, here's the section everyone's been waiting for. We're going to do this as our news from the nation. Here's your drop.
It's time for news from the nation.
It's time for news from the nation.
Sophia, what do you think of that drop?
It's a bit much.
That is exactly the reaction I was going for. Is this ever going to end? Is it over? When is this ending?
I didn't do the fart this time.
No, usually we add a live fart to
I think
the
I
thing.
took a nap in there.
That was about as long as Aquaman.
Here's what I did. In the Jock and Nerd Nation, I posted, I know I'm asking for trouble by throwing this out here, but fuck it. My younger sister will be joining us for the next show. Do you have any questions for her about me? AHAAM. Ask her. Alhamdulillah. Ask her anything about me. And we have 22 comments. Some people followed the directions. Some people didn't. We're just going to go. We're going to scroll. We're not going to answer all of them. Listener, if you don't get your question answered, don't feel bad. We are just, first of all, Fiddlesticks Winterbottom says, don't leave her alone with birthday boy Anthony. That's okay. They're not in the same room. So nothing to worry about.
Oh, thank goodness.
Fiddlesticks asks, is she coming on the show to discuss fashion and makeup ideas? It's a very sexist question. What do you think of that question?
It is, because I actually think I could use tips from Anthony, too.
Yeah, you probably could. She's not a very girly
I'm not
girl.
the most fashionable person out there either.
Carrie McGinnis from Blazing Caribou Studios says, talk about her storytelling and stand-up. Fiddlesticks asks, does she really do stand-up? Put a pin on that for now. We will come back to that.
Lies.
We're going to come back. Okay, Joey Austin with the first legit question. At what lengths did Imran try to hide his nerdiness in high school? You know, around girls or other guys? Did he hide his Star Wars action figures when his friends came over, etc.?
No,
Okay.
I don't remember him hiding anything you were like doing comics and stuff, making your own comics. You were into all that stuff. I think you hung out with people, if I remember correctly, who appreciated all that. But there was this phase in high school where he went super nerdy, not in a comic book sense. There was like this whole phase where I think both of us, but I wasn't quite in high school yet, like we're really into Malcolm X and stuff like that.
I got militant for a
and
second.
the movie came out at that point.
Yeah.
We both like read the book. And Imran, it's so funny to me thinking back, but Imran got into this whole like, I'm going to be
Black Power.
Well, it wasn't even Black Power. It was like, I'm going to respect my heritage and our like Muslim upbringing and all that. And he started wearing like traditional Pakistani clothes to school and stuff.
That's how I met him.
Yeah, so Ruggs met me at the tail end of that. I carried into like the first year in college.
Interesting.
And then I smoked a joint, and that was it. I was like, "What the fuck?"
I just think that's really funny because the two of us were like the least Pakistanis you could meet.
Yeah.
So that
we're
was
like the least terroristy Muslims.
that was
ever,
like,
really.
That was like a bit of a nerdy phase.
I guess I was searching for myself or something.
You were. We all do it.
That wasn't it. That's for fuck sure.
That was not it. But I feel like people got into it. You got into it, and you wore Doc Martens
I had
under
a
your
peace sign
shalwar kameez
medallion.
and a vest.
Remember?
And there was that one summer or whatever, we took like a bus to DC to go on this like Muslim march thing in DC.
Yeah.
And I remember us like buying like these chunky beaded necklaces and all this weird.
Dude, that was horrible.
Shit.
All I remember was I sat next to this giant fat lady.
10 hours.
Who, she was halfway into my seat and taking up her seat for 10 hours.
Yeah, and we didn't even stay. Like we took the bus out there, marched, and got on bus.
You know what? I wanted to give Anthony and Rugboy a crack first at asking questions before jumping to the group.
let's do
So,
that.
do you guys have any questions? You deserve to get one in.
He's your older brother, right?
Correct.
So did he ever have to like defend your honor and stand up for you or
Oh,
whatever?
that's a good question.
Like, did he ever have to like tell somebody shut the fuck up? Did he ever like assert himself in the older brother way?
That's a good question.
Or was he always a pussy?
Oh shit!
I think he was mostly always a pussy, but there is. I don't recall ever being in a situation where I needed to be defended, but there was one time where he was definitely not a pussy, and it wasn't defending. It was just like if you ask me about like big brotherly moments, this is the time that comes to mind. When was it that you got hit by that car?
Oh,
Little brown
shit.
Chevette. What? How old were you?
Early teens, mid-teens.
Yeah, like early mid-teens. I was a few years younger. We were riding bikes,
I was going to get
and
a
for some
haircut.
reason, we were going to a Supercuts for Imran to get his hair cut.
Yeah.
And it was the summertime, so it was just like the two of us at home. So I guess I had to go with him on a bike. And we were riding bikes, and we got to like an intersection, and I was behind Imran. And he was like in the intersection already, and I guess he had like looked back to check on me, and then this car hit him, and he like, and I watched it all because it was in front of me, and so he like rolled onto the hood of the car and then fell onto the ground, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
But I think what happened was he had like turned his head to look.
The guy made a right turn on red.
It was the driver's fault.
Yeah.
But Imran didn't see it because I think he was turning back to sort of like check on me entering the intersection or something. Anyway, like this ambulance came and the cops came. I remember like the cops gave me a ride home. I don't know where they took him. He was okay. He was like bruised a little. And I remember that it was like this dumpy, like brown Chevette.
Yeah, I couldn't get hit by a fucking Mercedes.
I remember our dad was like pissed. He was like, you can get hit by like
These people have no money.
car.
I think I totaled their car.
But yeah, like I sort of like saw the whole thing happen.
That was your big brother moment?
Yeah, I don't have many.
That was the big brother
when
moment.
he turned looking for you. And that's the most big brother Imran moment ever. He turned back looking to see where you were.
He's a good big brother now.
No, I'm saying like he turned back to like to look like
to like check
care.
on me. Yeah.
And in doing so, he gets hit by a car.
Yeah, I felt terrible.
And I never looked at her again.
Yeah. Now he's like, fuck it, you can cross your own street.
Yeah, what are you doing?
You're on your own,
Jesus
kid.
Christ, you've been hit by a car?
I got hit by a car, yeah.
You got hit
Holy
by a car.
shit.
But I was lucky. It wasn't. They
wasn't
messed up my bike, and I scratched my ankle, and it was sprained. And that was
You
it.
had like a sprain.
You were very lucky.
I remember hitting the roof.
I watched him. He rolled.
And then I remember hitting the ground and seeing cars come at me because I was
Holy
like
shit.
in the street. And then I was like, I better get up.
All right, I got another one.
Okay.
All right. What did Imran do that really pissed off his parents? Like, and either that you had to cover for him, or you just like witnessed it and got went. I was like, holy shit balls.
Are we talking about when we were kids or like last week?
At any point in time.
Last week.
Today.
Yeah. Earlier today. Take your time to think. I can edit out all the silence.
How personal are we getting here?
You say it, and I'll either leave it in or I'll cut it out.
Yeah.
The question is, what did Imran do?
When is he ever? What was it again?
Like, what did he do that really pissed off his parents that you remember?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That you remember.
How about? I have a few things come to mind.
Oh shit.
Dropping out of college and not telling them.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh, there is it. Ooh.
All right, I got one.
Okay. Wait, Anthony's got a question.
All right, I had more, but we can go back.
Oh,
to
okay.
that.
Yeah, we can get back to that.
Yeah, go for it.
What did Imran have any girlfriends, or was he always hanging out with dudes as a kid and to his teenage years?
In his teenage years?
Yeah.
I think you had some girlfriends, or you had interest in girls.
Did that would have been my fault? Did he have interest in girls?
I think he had interest in girls.
I did, but I was always afraid of them.
Why?
And then I would always just be friends with them.
Yeah, well, that was just because you were a nerdy kid.
Yeah. All right, that's a good question.
I think he had interest in girls, but like we always had, we never talked about that stuff, and we kind of still don't.
Yeah,
because we grew up in this dating was like not a thing and not allowed for us, so we all had to hide everything. So
I can kind of I have Asian, or I have my
persuasion.
Asian side. I have the Asian persuasion. On the Asian side, I do have like relatives that are very strict on the dating, so I can kind of sympathize with that.
Well, and if you're growing up Muslim,
I mean, we come from this weird place where like they tell boys like, don't talk to girls, don't talk to girls, don't talk to girls, don't talk to girls, and they're like, now you have to get married.
And then when you're 20, they're like, go find a girl.
And they're like, go find a girl. Why didn't you find a girl? And you're like, I don't know how to
socially stunted your
talk to
entire
them.
life.
And the same was true, for me.
Gotcha.
I don't see how they think that's going to work out.
Yeah, it's a terrible
let's go
plan.
back to the group.
Go to the question.
Roberto Rivera's got a great question. How much of your fandom rubbed off on her? Were you a big influence in her liking of comic books? Not really sure she even likes comic book stuff, but the question applies either way.
I don't like them to the extent Imran does. Clearly,
you mean you're not doing your own podcast about them?
I am not doing my own podcast.
You should have a
That
podcast.
would be cool if I had a rival Jock and Nerd podcast.
Oh, shit.
What if I called it Jock and Nerd 2? The other Jock and the other Nerd.
Also, Jock and Nerd also.
Jock and Nerd 2.
But I think when we were kids, there was some fandom. I mean, I kind of like, this is going to sound sappy, but I always thought like he was like the coolest older brother. And
Aww.
I mean, I only had one, so you had to be the coolest. But
By default.
Oh shit!
But
you're at least top 2 older brothers.
Right.
How many older brothers do you have? I got one.
My favorite sister.
I have one. He's in the top 2, right?
Top 2. I'd rank it 2, Imran.
But I just thought everything he did was cool, and I had like FOMO before FOMO was a thing. Just wanted to be everywhere he was. So I was there with him at all the comic book conventions, hours in the comic book stores. We went we went to New York once and toured a couple times and toured the Marvel building.
Yeah,
and,
we went to the
Spider-Man
Wow.
showed
Yeah,
up
that's
and
cool.
talked to us. We have pictures of all that.
Yeah.
So that kind of stuff, and like all the superhero movies that came out when we were kids, I was there watching them.
You appreciate Spider-Man more because of me?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, right. Here's 2 other things I think rubbed off on you. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. My sense of humor.
And your music.
Yes,
Taste in music.
that's what I was going to say.
Sense of humor and taste in music.
And the taste went out because I got into hip hop hard, and that got you into hip hop.
I don't think the humor rubbed off. I think our sense of humor developed together.
Okay,
as we grew up.
Yes.
You can't take all the credit.
No, you're right. Because
But Imran's like a big personality. Like he's like one of those guys that the minute that I met him, I was like, I got to be this guy's friend for life because he's such a unique dude, and he's funny. He's really quick. and nothing phases him. That's another thing that's great. Is like nothing, like it could probably bother him deep down inside, but he'll never let you see.
I squish it all down. Him. That's why I grind my teeth at
night. That to me,
it comes out through his teeth.
That's like a sign of strength. I really do think that's very strong. That's a strong person.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. I don't think I have that strength because things bother me a lot.
Oh, and she'll let you know.
I let them fester and I let people know.
Roberto Rivera has a follow-up question. Also, did you wear socks growing up, or was not wearing them something you came to after moving out?
Can I give the background on this?
Yes, please.
So Imran, one day at work, we worked together, just goes, socks are bullshit. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? He's like, I haven't been wearing socks for weeks now. Like, this is bullshit. Why are we wearing socks? It's a made-up thing that people made up so people can make money.
It's a conspiracy.
Yeah. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? You don't wear socks. Like, are you I don't see any sandals on. Are you not wearing socks right now? He's like, no, you don't need to. Why do you need to put clothes on your feet? You're already putting shoes on your feet. I'm like,
to keep them warm?
And not only that, I'm like, because that's fucking disgusting, Imran. Your shoes have all sorts of bacteria that are now going into your fucking feet. He's like, they're bullshit. You don't need to wear socks. And we ended this whole
Here's
debate.
what really happened. It was the summertime. I got hot. I wore sandals. I didn't wear socks one day. And then I was like, this is fucking great. I had some canvas shoes. I was like, I'm not wearing socks. I didn't wear socks the whole summer. Only one guy at work noticed. Nobody noticed. And then I told everyone on the podcast and I got a lot of shit. So socks or no socks during the summer? What's your ruling?
About you or in general? My feelings about socks.
Yeah, let's just get your feelings on socks in the summer.
Socks in the summer? Hell no.
See?
I don't even like shoes in the summer.
Would you wear? But
I would be barefoot my whole life if I could.
But would you rock? But he's rocking closed-toe shoes with no socks in an office.
I have done that. Not on the regular, but I have done that.
All right, we got something in common. It's genetic. It's hereditary. You fuckers.
But generally, if I'm wearing shoes, I'll have socks on. But if I had my choice, I do think I think socks and shoes are bullshit.
Yeah.
This is actually true.
Barefoot. My whole life, if I could.
There is actually a lot of stuff like your feet. Where you shouldn't be wearing socks. Like our feet are or shoes. More so shoes because our feet actually haven't developed.
Correct.
Because of this, aren't developing correctly. They're not
they weren't
as strong as they should
be barefoot. Right.
Your feet are actually designed to actually handle a lot more than
the bottom is so tough and it builds up calluses and it becomes kind of like a sole naturally.
Correct.
There's a lot of people in CrossFit that work out barefoot.
Oh yeah, and weightlift, the heavy weightlifting. Yeah.
And then and all that I agree with. And then there's also this like spiritual element of like, walking barefoot in the grass and the earth and connecting
feeling
with
all that stuff.
Is this too personal? Marcus Savina wants to know, is your sister single?
Counter question, are you rich?
Nailed it. There you go, Marcus.
Touché.
Marcus also asked, if she was a pie, what kind of pie would she be and why? I hate these questions.
That's a question for me or for you?
No, for you. Oh, no.
I'm not answering that.
That's not about you. That doesn't count.
That doesn't count.
Yeah.
What, in her opinion, is the best Disney movie of all time? That's a fair question.
The best? I mean, we were of the Aladdin generation.
Yes, that's what we were talking about last time.
I mean, there's problems with it as a grown woman. I can say there's problems with it, but I think I was pretty smitten with Aladdin.
Will Smith as Genie. You see the photo? What'd you think?
I saw the photo. I saw the little trailer. Apparently, they're going to make him blue.
Yeah, he'll be blue in CGI.
I think he can. I mean, I think the challenge is living up to Robin Williams' legacy.
You can't. He's amazing. Joe St. John wants to know 3 words to describe you and why.
To describe Imran.
Yes, you describe me.
Spongy.
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 That's a good word.
Screechy.
Screechy's a good word.
Adopted. No, I'm just kidding.
What?
Just kidding.
No, we're related and not married. You want to tell them that story about the Home Depot? Is that what you were going to tell?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, they know about your vitiligo.
I explained it at the beginning of the show. Were you not listening
I
also?
did remember.
Nobody listens when I talk. It's
just like we're all over the place here.
this is the show.
Imran was a little brown boy, and he grew up, and he turned into a white man, which, first of all, is like every little brown boy's dream.
Yeah.
Right? Like the best thing to happen in 2018.
Especially
is to
after
grow up
9/11.
and become a white man, especially after 9/11. I was not so lucky. I'm still a brown woman. But it's caused us some problems, right? Because now we don't look alike, and he's white, I'm brown. And when we go out, people think we're like a couple. And I was like, ew, gross.
That's so awkward.
No, but one time we were at the Home Depot.
Yeah.
And you were still wearing like Indian.
Okay, so
like, home
so
clothes.
my mom's house is like right next to this big giant Home Depot in this neighborhood in Chicago that's like a lot of immigrants and
It's
people from all
Chicago
over.
suburb, lots of Jewish people.
I was like home. It was summertime. I was chilling in like Pakistani, comfy, flowy clothes. And my mom was like, I need some light bulbs or something. And so the two of us, I just like threw on some flip flops. I'm like, I'll go with you wearing the same clothes. I'm like, whatever. It's like all immigrants around here. Who cares what I'm wearing? And we go to the Home Depot and, like we're just fucking around looking at shit at Home Depot. And we split.
Playing tag.
We were playing tag. We split at one point, and I went to go find something. Anyway, I turned the corner to find him again, and the aisles are like massive there. And I see him in the distance of this aisle, and he's talking to these two guys. And in my head, the first thing I thought was like, who are those guys? Maybe there's someone he went to high school with that he ran into. I don't know. That's just what I thought. And I'm like walking up. And as I get closer, I hear one of the guys look at me and say exactly like this. He goes, "You're married to her?"
Oh, shit. So
I was like, ew, gross. No, he's my brother. But secondly, fuck you. He could be married to me. Why not? Also, he's my brother.
This is what I think happened. There was 3 Israeli dudes.
They were Israeli.
I did not know them. And you know how I am. I'll just fucking talk to anybody. I just started randomly talking to these Israeli dudes. And I think they thought I was Jewish.
Right.
And I think that they were impressed and confused. How did you marry like a brown person?
I don't think they were impressed.
You don't think that's what it was?
I think they were like,
They were
what the fuck
horrified
is wrong with
that I
you?
turned my
Why
back
did you marry her?
on the Israeli race and married a brownie?
Yeah.
That is
That's what I detected in their
That
voice.
also is the epitome of Imran. He will see the positive in anything
And then my brother.
and give the benefit of the doubt to other people.
So I heard it and I got annoyed and I walked up and I was like, ew, gross, no. But then I was like, who the fuck are you? And I was like, let's just get these light bulbs and go. My brother, being my brother, he's, as you're saying, like so happy and joyful and ready to talk to her, like gets into a whole explanation. He's like, well, I used to be brown. We're both Pakistani. We have the same parents, but I have this thing called vitiligo.
He loves talking about that.
And I was like, why are you explaining ourselves to these guys? We don't know them.
It's the only thing I have to live for. David Polofsky Lalo has asked, how many of the 20 MCU films has she seen and what has she thought of them? Have you seen any of the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Your Captain Americas, your Iron Mans, your Avengers, Infinity War, Black Panther.
Very few. Black Panther I saw.
All right.
Did you like it?
Did you like
Next
it?
question.
We'll skip that question.
Yeah, skip that question.
David also wants to know, did she ever catch you webbing yourself, quote unquote?
Oh,
shit. That's very personal. Comment, Sophia?
Is that what I think it is?
Probably. Moving on.
No, but he used to leave his porn DVDs in the DVD player at
Did
the
I?
house.
No.
Yeah.
Did he really?
I
At our
only
mom's house.
We're not. Wait, what?
No, hold on. I only had VHS tapes. I never had fucking DVD.
Okay, then you left. Then maybe I'm remembering that you left
That
the
may have
VHS
happened.
tapes in the VCR.
Did you cover for him? Did like the mom come in?
I was the only one that found out that
Oh,
discovered them. Yeah.
All right, so that's close.
That's
to
how I
answer.
know he left them there. They weren't my video.
So we know that Imran's not asexual. Got it.
Right.
David, that's your answer.
Have you ever had his wife on the show?
Whose wife?
Your wife.
Your wife.
Oh, I'm married.
No, we have. She did one thing for the Patreon, right?
Oh,
did you put one thing on her?
What?
With her?
It was like
she reviewed a movie.
Age of Ultron. We saw, and I asked her what she thought.
That's the only time she's ever been involved. with the show.
she's not.
Was she a better movie reviewer than me?
No, she's not.
Because I wasn't very good.
No, but don't tell her. David Zika, best and worst things about being related to Imran. Good question. Give me one of each.
You have to be on a podcast.
Best thing ever.
Oh, that's a
and
good
worst
thing. Yeah, and the worst thing.
Best thing is he is very good to his friends and family. So I always have a ride home from the airport. No, that's a good
I'm a
thing.
personal Uber.
Best thing is we laugh a lot. Like my whole life, I just remember laughing a lot with Imran.
Worst thing.
Oh, you're like broke all the time.
Oh, shit. She got me.
He doesn't know how to manage his money.
I'm not good with money. No,
I know
this. And I'm in charge of the Patreon, so that's a little disconcerting. But there's money there. Don't worry, people. I haven't spent it on drugs and hookers yet.
He's all right.
Jason Dutch from Voice from the Underground podcast. Does she curse as much as you?
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. That's right. Oh, shit. Brian Goff wants to know, would she ever date Anthony?
Is Anthony rich? I'm just kidding.
He's
I'm
younger
not that,
than you. You can't
I'm
rob
not
the
that,
cradle.
Materialistic all the time.
So I'll take that as
Why
a no.
can't I rob a cradle?
You could.
I'll be a fucking cougar or whatever.
Raymond Swanson, at what age did Imran stop wearing Spider-Man underoos? Or Brian Goff asks, at what age will he stop wearing Spider-Man underoos?
Never.
I, for the record, never had Spider-Man underoos.
I cannot even comment on that.
No, you wouldn't know.
No, I wouldn't know.
I'm wearing them right now. Tane Reese, Chocolate Tane. What is a guilty pleasure of Imran's? Do you know? These are great because I don't even know if you know this shit.
Fuller House.
Okay. Listen, Stephanie Tanner, grown up, is totally worth watching all 3 seasons of Fuller House.
Fuller House.
Fuller House with Bob Saget. It's great.
Yeah, she wears a lot of weird outfits.
I got a question for you. What is the most athletic thing you've seen Imran do?
Oh, snap. That's a good question.
A jock question.
CrossFit.
We did CrossFit workouts
that's right.
together.
You got him
And I
into
kicked his
CrossFit.
ass every time.
Yeah, she did.
Every time we did workouts together, I kicked his ass. And I'm not that athletic.
What's the funniest thing you've seen him do in CrossFit?
The funniest thing?
You know, like as in like he fucked up something.
I think I saw you hit your face with the bar at some point.
Oh, shit.
Like pull the bar into his
Like
face.
on an overhead, like hit it from underneath, under his chin.
I did that a
Oh
lot.
wow.
Yeah.
I've had the bar.
Jeez, that is very uncoordinated.
Yeah.
I've had the bar bounce off my head. I've missed box jumps and fucked up my shins.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that happen, but I saw the aftermath
Yeah,
of
it's a
that
big
missed
bummer.
box jump. He skinned his leg.
It's unbelievable that you did CrossFit.
He was pretty good at it.
I remember in his prime. He was going and talking about it.
Oh my gosh,
and
yeah.
running during
But I
lunch.
created a monster, man.
Yes,
like
you did.
I turned him into one of those obnoxious CrossFitters.
Where I was posting my fucking workouts every day.
that's real
Oh my
obnoxious.
god, I
And
was like,
she was
what
like,
have
you
I
have to
done?
stop doing this. And I was like, oh, okay.
I was like, stop, don't.
Yeah, no one cares what you worked out. How you
Exactly.
worked out, yeah.
Jamie Robinson, who is Mr. Throwback Thursday from the Mr. Throwback Thursday podcast, was she ashamed of your love for De La Soul in the Daisy Age?
No.
I turned you on to De La
Yeah,
Soul.
you did.
I'm not
Not
ashamed
at
of
all.
loving De La Soul. They're awesome.
I'm not ashamed, nor should you.
Early De La is the best.
I still listen to it.
That's most of the questions. You guys got any follow-ups?
Rugboy Anthony.
Who do you think's funnier, you or Imran?
Oh, that's a good question.
Ooh, I think we're a different kind of funny. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
At
Hey, how
times
did you
we're the
die?
same. At times,
How would you describe the difference?
Imran's more screechy funny. Imran's just funny looking.
I'm funny, but looks aren't everything, people. Oh, shit.
So, what, in your opinion, is your mom's perception of Imran currently?
Oh,
that's a great one.
Oh boy, that
Holy
is
What
like
does she think he is?
constant
I'm just going to sit back and listen to this one.
topic of conversation.
This is shit I don't hear because they talk about it, and I don't know what they're saying. So go ahead.
How to put this delicately?
Doesn't have to be delicate. I could take it.
I think neither of us sort of live up to what she imagined her kids would be.
Well, nobody
or
could.
What she wanted, yeah, from her kids. But I think deep down she's probably pretty proud, or at least decently proud, or
So-
like this could be worse. She's like, I'll take them.
That's why when I went to tell her
I'll
about
take both of them.
me and Jesse,
So that's what I was going to talk about earlier.
Yeah. Well,
Well, the biggest disappointment or whatever.
for who? For her?
No, when Rugboy asked, what did you ask earlier? Like, what was the thing that got the parents really mad?
Aha.
I was going to talk about his whole like marriage.
So Fiddlesticks Winterbottom also has a question. It was when Marcus asks, "Is your sister single?" Fiddlesticks comments, "Come on, man, it's his sister. Even I know better not to go there." Come to think of it, how does she feel about Wisconsin men, and how did she accept your wife?
How did I accept her? With open arms.
Well, see, these people don't know. You were accepting. You
Why
were,
do they know?
I talk about my mom and stuff and all that, you know.
No, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I was accepting. Jesse's cool.
So what I told my mom that I did was living with a white woman that was Muslim. At first I told her I was gay. But then I was like, no, I'm
she
kidding.
Used to ask
I
me.
just live with a white woman. Wait,
okay, wait. So, okay.
She used to ask if he was gay.
Oh, boy.
No, she used to ask, is he a gay?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I even get.
Is he a gay?
I've heard that in Filipinos.
Like, you're 30 and not married? Are you a gay?
No, it was because she would take. We have these things in Pakistani culture called rishta, but in English, we used to call them showings, like a showing, where someone would propose
like a horse,
a meeting,
like if you're buying a horse,
and like both families meet to sort of ogle the daughter and the son involved,
sure.
and
see if it's
judge the whole family, right? Both families meet at the same time. It's like a little guesting thing in someone's house, and you sort of like talk about how much money they have, who's educated where, whatever. They try to like out fancy each other. And
this is all very materialistic.
Yeah, very materialistic. It's like it's all about
this is surface
build,
level
complexion, because they don't want people too dark, right? So like you have to, they use these terms like wheatish complexion, fair or whatever. So it's all about how you look, how tall you are, how much money your parents make, how much money you make, what your education is, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Like love schmuv. But so at one point she would like, arrange these showings, and I went on a couple of them when I happened to be in town. I got out of a lot of this because I just...
Were these your showings or for Imran?
No, for Imran.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I got out of a lot of this because I just didn't live at home from an early age, and he stuck around. I didn't stay in Chicago. So we went on these showings, and he would just... And he, my brother, bless him, he doesn't want to upset anyone, so he just goes along with it to make, just like humor her or whatever. And we all went a couple of times to meet these families. But then he'd always be like, let it drop. And my mom at one point was like, how come he doesn't like any? And they were always like very sort of like traditional Pakistani girls who are probably women who are probably like fine people, but just not the right kind of match, right? Nothing in common. And so he would just let it drop. And my mom at one point was like, how come he doesn't, she was just thinking, how come he doesn't like any of these women? And then she goes, is he a gay? Now, counter story to that, in my experience, I tried to lean into that whole thing. Every time she would like suggest some Pakistani dude for me,
you're like, let's do it.
I would be like, I like girls. And she would be like, you're crazy. Stop being crazy. I'm like, okay, what do you expect when you don't let me talk to boys my whole life?
Yeah.
But it didn't work.
So if you've seen the movie The Big Sick, it's very realistic and accurate. And the showings would be like, we're all there, and I'd be sitting there. And,
how does this go?
So you go, and there's a dinner, and...
Now, listen, does the girl have to like you, or you just think, I want this girl?
No, they have to like you, too.
The families have to like...
So is it a mutual understanding?
It is mutual.
Yeah. No one's getting forced anymore.
We would go to these things, and I remember one of them...
I just can't believe Imran has prospects.
No, but I don't. They're all forced. I'm sitting there. There's literally 5 girls sitting across the table. It's like the girl and all her sisters, right?
That was a different thing. No.
Wait, I'm not done. Let me finish. There's 5 girls there, and we're eating, and then eventually, like, you would steal away, and my mom would come over, and she'd be like, so, what do you think? And I'd be like, which one of the fucking girls is it? There was 5 girls. I don't know which one you're talking about. There's 5 of them.
Yeah.
And then one girl, actually, I got rejected because of the vitiligo.
Yeah.
Straight up.
So that's another very superficial and materialistic thing. In
so I was like, fuck you guys.
Is like the parents see it as a negative. They're like, it's probably going to pass down to the kid. So he's like defective or something.
So I'm like, this shit ain't going to work anyways.
Which transcends, like that applies to the whole family. Like a family of a guy that would say that about me because they know that the vitiligo's in the family, right? Like it's in the genes. So they'd be like, we're all defective because of it. But I remember one time though, so there's another thing that happens, and they're like these sort of like matchmaking like mixers or events, like kind of like speed dating, but not really, like in a community center and like in a mosque or something, and you go in and it's like all these singles, young men, young women, and the parents are there, but they're like in the back, and there's a table, and the table has stacks of these papers. Everyone has a paper that's called a biodata.
Oh yeah,
and the biodata has like your picture
Your
and your
resume.
stats, right?
Yeah.
Like your complexion, your height, your education,
It's like your,
whatever.
yeah, it's like your own trading card.
And my mom signed him. I wasn't even in town for this, but I remember him telling me on the phone, signed him up for this thing, and you pay money, right? And paid for it. And she was just like nagging him about this. And he called me. He's like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to go, but she'd already paid. And I was like, just go, whatever. So he goes, and I call him after. I'm like, how'd it go? And he goes, it was really cool. I met this other guy called Imran, and he plays guitar too, and we're going to get together and play music. I'm like, you weren't supposed to meet another dude.
I remember. I forgot that until you just said that. I remember that now.
Wow.
There's another guy named Imran who plays a guitar.
I know. I was like, this is my doppelganger. This is fucking
Let's get
crazy. He needs to die. There can only be one of us, like Highlander.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should
All right,
have the
that's,
sword
I
fight.
think that'll conclude the AHA-AM segment. Hope you guys learned as much as I did about my sister.
Wow, I didn't know that you had all of these.
Yeah, the arrangements.
It's a fucking thing, man.
That was one of the questions I was going
But you
to
don't
ask.
I mean, clearly you don't have to. He didn't do
don't.
it. But you go
Because
through
some
these.
people it works out, some people it doesn't.
I find that shit fascinating that there's like a skin.
Oh yeah,
like
there's different
a skin
descriptions. There's like
tone
fair,
description.
dark, wheatish.
The light-skinned people always get the breaks,
What,
man.
what color is wheatish anyway? What's the color of wheat?
Is that like a white?
It's like off-white.
I think it's like a
wheat and
fair.
white.
Yeah, I think it's.
So it's a
paper bag.
pejorative if you're darker,
Yes.
even
Yep.
in that.
Oh yeah. All over the world,
Yep.
it's like that.
Wow.
They have these creams in South Asia called Fair and Lovely. This whole
To lighten you.
this whole line of products, and now they have one for men called Fair and Handsome.
Oh, I should get that. Will it work? Do you think it'll work? How much
You're
lighter?
already fair.
It's the same thing with Filipinos, like back in the Philippines.
And that's the
They'll be
whole
like,
irony about the vitiligo being sort of like
it's like the best skin
defect
there is.
because he's the fairest of all.
I have not been enjoying white privilege as much as I should have, unfortunately.
He does get better service at Starbucks than I do.
People
when we
hold
go
doors
in
open for me
together.
for some reason.
It's true.
that's the same thing in the Philippines, where like
Yeah.
the moms will be like to the daughters, "You're never gonna marry. You're too dark.
Yeah.
Get out of the sun. You're too dark."
I love his Filipino.
Our mom goes
accent.
crazy
Yeah.
in the summertime. She's like, "Don't go out in the sun." Be all
Hey,
covered
the
up.
sun is bullshit like socks. I have vitiligo. I'll tell you right now, you don't need
I
it.
think that you're going to be able to get a good job as a Santa very soon. And I can't wait for that to happen.
You know, that's funny you say that, Ruggs, because, you know, Christmas season just passed, and I was like, man, once this beer goes full white, I'm taking the Santa jobs. I'll be a legit. And then the whole joke is, it's a Muslim Santa, you fuckers. Joke's on you. You're not getting anything. Beat
Not
it.
only is he not real, but he's not even Catholic.
I'm nowhere near close to what you thought you were getting. To wrap up, we have an audio review of Aquaman from none other than Matty J. Miller. There it is.
What's up, Jock and Nerd Nation? Matthew James back again. Recently went and saw Aquaman in theaters, and overall this movie was pretty cool. Definitely not up to Marvel's level yet, but it was a great attempt. A lot of great visuals. Underwater looked amazing. Had a few problems with this movie, though. Last time we saw Aquaman and Mira in Justice League, they were talking underwater with an air bubble she had formed. Literally everybody in this movie is talking underwater with no air bubbles, so that didn't make any sense at all. Also, we see Nicole Kidman in the beginning eating a goldfish from a fish tank. That seems pretty messed up since they're all basically fish people, so I didn't like that either. Jason Momoa was pretty emotionally flat in this movie like everybody else was. We do see a Man of Steel oil rig explosion when he's talking to King Orm. We see a mention of Coast City where Green Lantern lives, and we see Dinosaur Island, which is a deep, deep cut, so that was pretty cool. Speaking of Orm, Ocean Master looked amazing in his costume, especially the looks of the face piece was amazing to me. Black Manta looked really, really cool as well. I liked his character and his costume. He reminds me a lot of Man Ray from SpongeBob, if you know what I'm talking about. Slowly but surely, we see the Legion of Doom forming, which is amazing because I can't wait for the Justice League to team up and fight the Legion of Doom.
That's
gonna be
never happening.
Freaking epic. Overall, this movie is like a 6 or 7 out of 10 for me. Didn't really like it that much, but anyways, what are you going to do? Imran, if you don't play the second clip of this speak pipe, I will never listen to the show again or send a speak pipe in. Anthony, that wasn't funny what you just said. Chuck and nerd!
So, you know, we just talked about how I'm agreeable and I do things, and of course I'm going to play the clip because he threatened something.
I think you should dare him.
I dare you.
Sounds like a challenge.
Well, here's
to
the
me.
thing. Matt Miller actually did us a solid at this next clip. We usually talk about geek news, but I bypassed all that to get to the segment. He breaks down some geek news, so we're going to do a little bit of news right now with Matt Miller taking us through.
What's up, Jock and Nerd Nation? Matthew James back again. This is part 2 of my Speak Pipe series, so thank you so much for sticking around. I know you're super excited, so let's get right into the news.
Are you excited?
Recently watched the Men in Black trailer with Tessa Thompson and Chris Hemsworth. I don't know why anybody would go see this movie. It looks like shit. It is kind of cool. They're still working together after Thor. Also,
have you seen Men in Black International?
I saw the trailer.
Chris Hemsworth, Tessa Thompson. It's like a Thor Ragnarok sequel. Liam Neeson leading it. What'd you get? What?
Like the Hellboy movie, it's unnecessary.
Yeah, it didn't bring much. Anthony, what do you think? Do you like the Men in Black? You want to see another one? Do they need to make another one?
I was never a big Men in Black guy, so I don't really have much an opinion on it either way.
Too silly.
I love the first movie and the world.
Yeah,
they
I always
built,
found it too silly.
There's a lot you could do in that world, but whatever. They're gonna milk this. So
saw the Us trailer from Jordan Peele's new movie. I had goosebumps watching it. It looks freaking crazy, horrific. Go check it out.
I can't wait.
This is interesting because I just found out you like horror movies.
I can't wait.
Really?
I watched the trailer yesterday.
What is this movie about from that trailer, real quick?
I don't know. But it looked scary.
But what? So why can't you wait?
It's less political commentary than it's less like racial commentary than his other movie. It's more like
evil
genre horror.
Evil doppelgangers.
That's right.
They're
That's
us.
what it was.
It's the same person.
I forgot
Have you guys seen the trailer yet?
It's like evil clones.
Yeah.
What is the trailer?
It's called Us. It's Jordan Peele's follow-up.
I have not.
Get Out.
Oh, that movie.
Yes.
I was like, this is fucking
It's not a
weird.
follow-up. It's just
I mean, it's his next horror movie.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, I'm not watching that.
No? See, Anthony's like,
Oh, come on, Anthony.
I mean,
I was like, I'm out.
a little-
I don't like getting
He doesn't
scared
like
for fun.
Yeah. And who's the pussy? Who's calling me the pussy? This guy doesn't watch a horror movie. But I
don't like him either.
There's
I watch it.
there's a little like Hitchcockian vibe, like the way it was cut, the stuff he was doing, a little Stanley Kubrick-ish. I kind of like that what we're seeing from him.
The Doom Patrol teaser we got, Cyborg looked really cool in that trailer. I don't know why Justice League didn't do a simplified version like that. He looks really
is that
good.
Cyborg?
Oh,
In the Doom Patrol trailer, they've
Is it
added
Cyborg?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
There's a
I didn't
guy.
know that was Cyborg. I know
playing-
he looked like Cyborg, but I didn't think.
Oh, that's Cyborg.
weird.
The Titan season finale, if you watch that, there's a post-credit scene also that has Connor Kent and Crypto, Superboy, and the whole Batman versus Robin.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
It was crazy, but I don't want to spoil it. It wasn't a thing, but it was a thing. But it was weird. Good ending.
for all this group of heroes, they can do a lot with this cast. I'm really interested to see how it plays out. George R.R. Martin also wrote a novella about this Night Flyer spaceship. It's on Sci-Fi. Go check it out. Great series, really cool, really trippy. Moving over to Netflix, we have a Dark Crystal remake in the works with Mark Hamill, Andy Samberg, some really cool people. So if you like that, go check it out. Hero Mask is an anime series they made. I just finished that. Really good. And also Bird Box is a book that I read a while ago. They just made that into a movie with Sandra Bullock, which is a cool little thriller.
Okay.
Spoiler alert.
Hold on, it's a book, so it wasn't a copy of A Quiet Place.
No, it's an adaptation of a book. Sophia and I and the fam, when they were over for the holidays, we randomly watched this Bird Box on Netflix, starring Sandra Bullock and John Malkovich is in it, Sarah Paulson. It's actually pretty good. It's The Happening meets The Quiet Place. All right.
Okay.
So you start out, and there are scenes where Sandra Bullock and these two kids are blindfolded, and she's giving them orders. Do what I say. Whatever you do not take off this blindfold.
The blindfold.
They get in a boat and they go down a river blindfolded. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? It cuts to 5 years earlier, and there's a mass epidemic of people committing suicide. Mass suicides all over the world. It finally comes to where she is. You know, she's in the hospital. She sees this one lady. When she's leaving, this lady is now slamming her head against the wall, the glass wall, bleeding. Shit goes crazy. And apparently there's monsters. And if you look at them, they get into your head and they trick you into killing yourself. So when you go outside, you have to have blindfolds. It was actually pretty well done. It reminded me of Lost. It's like A Quiet Place, but with sight.
There's monsters that
You don't see the
monsters.
never see
It's
the
like
monster.
it's like an essence of an evil thing.
There's wind and the leaves whip up and you see trees move like in Lost, like there's something in the forest, but you never see them.
And if you look at them, then your eyes glaze over. That's how you know. That's how we know that people have been affected, and then you kill yourself.
I would recommend it. It was a pretty good movie. Would you consider this a horror movie?
Yeah. I mean, I thought A Quiet Place was a bit of a horror movie too.
Yo, it sucks you in right from the beginning. You're like, what the shit
has
is
all
going
that
on?
suspense and the
Yeah. Good movie.
It had some unanswered questions though too.
Yeah, but yeah.
So did A Quiet
Place.
Yeah.
But for a Netflix original, Sandra Bullock, Malkovich, it's not
Although
bad.
her face looks
so does the
funny.
JFK assassination.
That has
That's true. And the moon landing.
Lots of unanswered questions.
And the moon landing.
Black Mirror fan alert. By the time this show posts, Black Mirror's latest movie will have released. They just put out the trailer today. Yes,
Yeah.
this is what they're doing. They're putting out, they've done this before. Between seasons, there was a movie with John Hamm, and it was around Christmas. It was like a Christmas themed movie.
I got you.
This one's called Black Mirror Bandersnatch. If you are a Lewis Carroll fan or a fan of poetry at all, you will be familiar with Bandersnatch from Jabberwocky, and it's a character from the Alice in Wonderland stories. But this takes place in the 80s. It's about video game developers. And Ruggs, what else can you say about this? Like, you don't really know.
It's supposed to be a choose your own adventure, isn't it?
I think it is. We talked about the rumors of them making a choose your own adventure episode. This whole trailer, they say things like change your mind, change your present. The lady's like, you are not controlling your fate, to the character. You are not controlling this. I think this is a choose your own adventure where we can choose which way it goes. It sounds very ambitious, but on the platform of Netflix is the only place you could do this because they can easily throw up 2 buttons at any point, and you click the button and it goes off in one way. And you are controlling the character's fate and destiny, it looks awesome. Anything Black Mirror is fucking great. I can't wait to watch that. Let's finish up.
Those are pretty awesome. Go check it out. Last but not least, Hellboy trailer. I know you guys talked about it last week. He looks freaking awesome with his horns. Rugboy, you said you didn't see the necessity in this. What do you see? What do you think? What would you like to see a necessity of? What do you think is Hollywood's lacking, or what do you want to put out? I know that it wasn't very succinct, but anyways, he looked cool with the horns. We got a little teaser of that in the first movie, so I'm excited to see that play out.
Well, the whole thing about Hellboy is that it's already been done by, number one, a master director
Guillermo del Toro,
with the perfect actor to play
Ron
Hellboy,
Perlman,
with the best makeup that you could get. There's no reason to make this movie again. There's just no reason. Unless you want to just throw more money at it and make it more of a spectacle.
And swearing, and because it's R-rated, so you can swear now.
Yeah, okay, but that doesn't necessarily make it any better or anything.
What would you like to see that hasn't been, that needs to come
I would
out?
like to see, first of all, now, the exact opposite. A failed attempt at a movie like Masters of the Universe is a perfect thing to do because you have something that could have been, you have a property that wasn't given its due and needs to be given its due properly. So I would say like maybe a Masters of the Universe, or maybe The Sword, the comic book, which is a great comic book about a woman who's paraplegic that finds out that her father is an actual god and buried a sword under the house, and if she touches that sword, she could heal all her wounds and stand up for the first time. And that sword is the only thing that can kill another god. And there's all the other gods want that sword so they can live forever, not ever never be killed.
That sounds cool.
That is
I've heard
fucking great fucking graphic novel or
I've heard about that
miniseries, and it's a woman hero, and it's amazing. So they should make that
Masters of the Universe remake coming out next year, end of next year.
No, it's not. They haven't even started casting.
Yeah, maybe not. It was supposed to, and they're planning it, but it might not happen. But good points. Why remake something that people already love that was a fan favorite?
If something's done really well, there's no point in remaking it. Like, unless you're continuing a franchise. Like, the fact that, okay, maybe the actors age out or something like that, that's fine. But like Spider-Man, for example, like with Tobey Maguire got too old to play Spider-Man, or got too old for Marvel's liking to play Spider-Man, or they wanted to go in a different direction. Okay, whatever. But I mean, was the Amazing Spider-Man movies necessary? No, they made them anyway. And people don't like them. So,
all right, Matt Miller, I hope that satisfies your question. Well done. Sophia,
what's up?
We're at the end of the show. Do you want to plug anything? Now, we did make mention of the stand-up question, and Fiddlesticks wondering, do you really do stand-up? Do you want to say what you do as a hobby?
I do as a hobby do stand-up comedy in the D.C. area, sometimes in New York, sometimes in Chicago, but mostly in the Washington, D.C. area. If you're in the area, go out to see your local open mics. You might find me there. If you have more questions about Imran, about myself, about Jason Momoa, Hit me up on Twitter. I'm at Sofjaved, SOFJAVED. Also, I just joined Instagram recently. I don't really know how it works, but I'm also at Sofjaved on Instagram. Follow me there. Give me pointers on how to use it. I need like a millennial to tutor me.
If you are in the DC area, I would find the open mics you're at, because
find my sister.
It's like, where's Walden?
Where's
Sofia?
Where's Sofia? Because really, some of the greatest times we've had recently is you asking me to help you with your material. I love writing jokes with you.
He
I was
didn't
like,
help much, by the way.
yeah, I've tried, but I was like, this is a job.
I got a cool knock joke for you.
Yeah, no, I wrote a couple of good
motherfuckers.
helped out a couple of good things, but your stand-up is really good if you keep doing it.
Yeah, it's getting there.
You people love you do, and the fact that you are a brown Muslim woman,
there
would
are
take
more
you
of us out there.
a lot
though.
farther than if I did it. Another fucking white guy saying, "No,
I don't know. The white guys still get pretty far with their dick jokes.
But yeah, it's all about dick jokes, and
That's what I
White guys and dick jokes.
But you would stick out a little bit more. It's your time. It's their time, man.
It's your time.
It's the women's time.
I'll lean
but
into that shit.
Thank you for coming on the show. I hope you had fun.
Thanks for having me. Sorry it was a lame movie review.
Oh no, you were fine. Really,
Oh, you're fine. We got it.
People just wanted the dish on me. That was the whole point.
Right, if you want more dish, hit me
You
up.
know what to do.
Twitter,
And
Instagram.
you brought some levity to the review. You're like, it's fine. The movie's good. I like it.
I was like, I liked
Jason Momoa. Yeah, it's good.
I liked it.
Yeah, it's good. I had a good. I mean,
The movie was wet. The audience was wet. You know.
Everything is better down where it's wetter. Rugs, where can the listener find you?
You can find me on Twitter at ReallyRugboy, where I'll probably be tweeting pictures of my new friend.
Oh, who's that? Did you find
Sofia?
Oh, okay.
I was like, where's this going?
Did you find something on the street? A
No,
small animal?
no.
Listener, help us grow by visiting our website, using our affiliate links for Merchoid and Amazon. Click those banners, shop. You'll be helping us out. And another way you can help us grow is just by telling a friend. Share the show. Grab someone's phone and subscribe them. Tell their Alexa to enable Jock and Nerd. Alexa, enable Jock and Nerd. And it will be enabled. Thank you for listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
We'll hear you next time.
Call me Ocean Master.
Them call me Bushmaster. Wagwan.
My balls was hot.
Oh, that's it. Call me Black Manta.
Black Manta.
I'm sorry.
Or Black Man.
What's your name again?
Can't pause on the Manta.